He was sent home from Pyongyang in a coma after being held for more than a year. The president heads first tomorrow to Canada for the G7 summit, where some key allies plan to confront him about new tariffs. House Republicans searching for a solution on immigration reform. Haven't found it yet. Fox's Jared Halpern, live on Capitol Hill.
A group of moderate Republicans has until Tuesday to collect 218 signatures to force votes later this month on competing immigration proposals. That petition is now just a few signatures short right now. House Speaker Paul Ryan is urging colleagues not to sign it.
The best we can do is basically make sure that we exhaust the possibilities of coming together as a House Republican conference to bring a bill to the floor that everyone can support.
Ryan wants a compromise between groups of moderates and conservatives on legislation that would help dreamers, young immigrants brought to the country illegally as children, stay in the U.S., but also satisfy border enforcement demands. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. A mixed day on Wall Street. The Dow up 94 points at the bell, but the NASDAQ snaps a three-day streak of record closes. Fair and balanced.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
A federal judge says a lawsuit challenging the separation of families by immigration officials can move forward.
The lawsuit involves a 7-year-old girl and 14-year-old boy who were separated from their illegal immigrant parents and claims the children's constitutional rights to a fair hearing were denied. U.S. District Judge Dana Sabra, President George W. Bush appointee, will also issue a separate ruling on the ACLU's request for a nationwide injunction and to expand the lawsuit to apply to all parents and children who are split up by border authorities. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
President Trump has blamed existing laws for border separations, calling for changes. A confession from Facebook just confirming that millions of posts meant to be private were sent out publicly instead, blaming a software bug that switched a default setting. It's already been fixed. Facebook says the error occurred while the company was building a new way to share featured items on user profiles. A new study finds most junior Navy officers lack adequate seamanship skills.
The review, conducted after 17 sailors died in 2 accidents involving U.S. warships last year, found that less than 20% of first tour officers passed random competency tests without concerns. An internal message written by Vice Admiral Richard Brown identified issues with sailors' ability to apply rules of the road at sea during low visibility, as well as a lack of proficiency with radar operation. The Navy has concluded last year's collisions were avoidable and caused by leadership failures. In Washington, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
New Jersey becomes the second state to approve legalized sports betting since a Supreme Court ruling paving the way. The state Senate just sending a bill on to the governor's desk. One New Jersey racetrack is hoping it's signed in time to start taking bets tomorrow. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Timoning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. It's summer, and KFC has something extra special to spice it up with KFC's new Sriracha Extra Tasty Crispy Chicken. Yup, we kicked up our Pika chicken a notch with Sriracha. Sriracha! It's spicy, tangy, and sweet. You've never had Sriracha like this before, so spice up your summer with KFC's new Sriracha Crispy Chicken. KFC is finger-licking good.
From September 17 to September 19, 2018, the Archdiocese of Agana will be conducting settlement conferences with victims of clergy abuse. If you have a claim and want to meaningfully participate in the September settlement conferences, call Hope and Healing Guam at 1-888-649-5288 before August 1st, 2018. All conversations with Hope and Healing Guam are confidential. If you have filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese, you are already included in this settlement process.
More than 40 local companies have partnered with Take Care to bring you some of the best deals across the island through the Take Care Affinity Rewards program. From Spa Bali, Guam Reef and Gabriel's Restaurant to Tango Theaters, Dolce Frutti, and many more. Take Care members can simply present their membership cards at our partner locations to receive a special offer or discount. For a complete listing of Take Care's affinity partners and deals, visit takecareasia.com or check out our Take Care app for all the latest updates.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The financial manager of the Department of Administration has acknowledged that the strict letter of the law was not followed in the management of the Chamorro Land Trust Commission special funds. During DOA's budget hearing yesterday, Senator Tom Atta sought an explanation from Finance Manager Kathy Kagagi for hundreds of thousands of dollars that he said was hijacked from Chamorro Land Trust specialty accounts. The money ended up in the general fund and was used for other purposes. Atta pointed out that those funds were supposed to be used for specific purposes like land surveys and building infrastructure on land trust properties. Kagagi said she knew the funds were supposed to be used for those purposes, but the general fund had a deficit of $105 million, and payroll had to be made, and tax refunds had to be paid. The bottom line, said Kagagi, is which law do you want me to break? Also on the financial front, yesterday afternoon during the latest Special Economic Services meeting, outgoing Public Auditor Doris Brooks said GovGuam is on track to report its first significant surplus for fiscal year 2017. Brooks told lawmakers and members of the administration's fiscal team that the surplus is the result of aligning expenditures with revenues and not due to bond financing. Brooks credited the good cash management implemented by the Department of Administration and the governor. The fiscal 2017 audit, however, is not yet complete. The amount of the surplus still being calculated, and Brooks did not estimate the surplus that she said exists. However, she said that the bad news is that GovGuam still has a cumulative deficit of between $80 and $100 million that's built up over the past few years, and that's why GovGuam continues to be strapped for cash, she said. The governor's office issued a release following Brooks' remarks, pointing out that the deficit was $350 million when the Calvo administration took office back in 2011, and they've continued to chip away at it. We'll have more news after this.
Rain. It's nature's way of cleansing the earth. Yet by the time that rainwater makes its way to your home, it may not be exactly the same as nature created it. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve the quality of the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home, so you can be sure your water is clear, clean, and fresh, just as nature intended it to be. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Call American Water Tech, 649-2301, or email info@americanwatertech.com.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. No word yet on whether any tax refunds will be paid out today. DOA Director Edward Burns said yesterday that receipts this week have not been as good as hoped for. Recently, Rev Tax has been sending out about $2 million in tax refunds every week, a total of $44 million. In 2017, tax refunds have been paid out so far this year, $33 million of that paid out in March. The refunds paid out so far have covered error-free returns filed through February 5th. A random shakedown at the Manilao prison has turned up more contraband that made its way inside the prison in this case. Just before 5 Wednesday afternoon, corrections officers searched cells at Post 16 and found an iPod, a cell phone, 2 chargers, 2 crystal-like stones of suspected methamphetamine, a lighter, and a straw. DOC Director Tony Lamarena said the items were found inside the cell of inmate David Mendiola, who was then arrested and reconfined. The contraband was turned over to the Guam Police Department's Mandanya Drug Task Force. An earlier shakedown at Post 5 on Wednesday turned up no contraband. Another inspection conducted yesterday at Post 17 also came up empty-handed. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Mostly cloudy through tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy Sunday, and some isolated showers, possibly some thunderstorms, too. Light and variable winds. Daytime highs should be about 88 degrees, and overnight lows around 78 degrees. Sunset tonight, 6:46 sunrise. This morning was about 5:53, a little bit earlier tomorrow. And we'll go to the radar map and see what the colors are doing, and a little bit of interpretation there from meteorologist Michael Knight.
A lot of rainfall down to our southeast, as you can see, and this is a very complex and large monsoon trough system, which is culminating in a low that's starting to develop east of the Philippines and far away from us. All of this, and you can see a lot of blobbage up in the upper left portion of your screen there. That's where that low is forming. And we're right above that little bit of blobbage kind of in the middle there. If you see this arc of clouds up to the top right of the screen, that's indications of an upper level low, and so that is what's going to give us a chance of thunderstorms over the next couple of days as that sinks on down. That means cold air up in the higher levels. But what we've got here is just a situation where this long trough has got to pull north sooner or later as this low pulls up towards Japan, and that's going to give us some rain through tomorrow, but it looks like it'll clear up nicely after that.
All right, because the tan's beginning to fade.
I
gotta get out there and do something about it. That's news and weather together on The Point, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Where others put branches, they place roots.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Nice plan. 6:14. This is the Ray Gibson Show, and portions brought to you by my friends over at King's Restaurant. And it's Friday. It's finally Friday. It's Freaky Friday, isn't it? Yes, we'll make it a Freaky Friday before 10 o'clock, I'm sure. But what's for lunch today? That's the big question. It's beef tinaktak over at King's. They got a different lunch special every single day. And if beef tinaktak's not your thing, I understand. Got it completely. You know what you can do? They've got these pick 2, pick 3 combos. Try that for lunch today at King's.
Morrico Equipment, located on Ipoh Road, Tamuning, is a heavy equipment dealership and was established on Guam in 1990. Morrico Equipment is now an employee-owned company. Morrico represents 23 heavy equipment manufacturers and supports those products on Guam with sales, rental, parts, and service. The Morrico Equipment rental fleet now comprises of 200 machines. Morrico also offers an on-site diesel delivery service and Trashco Guam, a roll-off trash container service. If you're interested in joining the Morrico ESOP ownership team, find out more on their website at morricoequipment.com.
Good plan. APL, American President Lines, sponsors portions of the Ray Gibson Show. American President Lines is shipping the future.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
the sound of great music,
The Grammy goes to...
and the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
That, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ray Gibson Show on the Point 93.3. My name is Ray Gibson. Those are all of my children. That's my favorite thing. I go up to guys, young guys in the business, and just go, "I'm your real father." It takes what? Hold on there. Wait, what are you talking about? So here we are in the program, and want to say good morning to my very close, very dear personal friend and professional broadcast journalist, Kevin Kerrigan. Good morning.
Morning.
I told you it was going to be a Freaky Friday. Busy yesterday.
Thank God it is.
Busy much yesterday?
It was, wasn't it?
I
It was
guess.
exciting over the legislature as far as legislative hearings go.
Yeah. You know, I had meetings yesterday, so I didn't catch all of it. Was there fireworks? Was there hair pulling for the Department of Administration? Because it sure sounds like it.
It was an interesting day of hearings.
A budget presentation that failed to meet its oversight chair's expectations. Speaker B.J. Cruz said, "I'm not sure if I should express my utter disappointment or my utter dismay at this presentation." So which did he finally go with, his disappointment or dismay?
Both.
All right. Well, hey, that's a hot seat. It's a hot seat if you were working in the government of Guam, and it's, especially for the government of Guam in this day and age. That is certainly one of the hot corners that you've got to deal with when you go through it. I referred to as a meteorologist. I don't know. Are you a certified meteorologist, or you like me, just got a certificate in something else?
No, I'm just a guy who's spent a lifetime studying weather.
Just pay attention to it. Huh?
As a note, by the way, the in-studio disco ball will be installed on Tuesday.
Oh,
yeah. We wanted to try to do it today.
That's
but,
great.
Yeah, but. Yeah.
No, because I got songs.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we got jams.
We go back in time. We get some cool stuff there from Nile
Practice
Rodgers.
the hustle again.
Oh, sure.
Remember that?
Well, just as an aside, I know my way around the dance floor.
Do you really?
Yeah. I was reading some. I was looking for some tunes last night on YouTube of all places, because there was this song in my head and I was going crazy trying to remember it. And the only thing I could come up with was the hook, and the hook was Mandalay. And that was it. I just know it was a cool dance tune called Mandalay.
Wow.
And I finally found it, and there was somebody that wrote in the comments of it, to everybody that was born after like 1990, 1985, you guys are never ever going to know the thrill of hearing a song like this come up on the dance floor, and all of a sudden there is not one square 12 by 12 lit up part of the dance floor that doesn't have 17 feet on it.
That's right.
I mean, just think about the parties that we used to have in the 1970s and the 1980s, dancing to songs like Mandalay. And I don't think there is anything like that anymore.
No, there's not. I mean, the stuff they play at these parties now, it's just, it's like, what the hell are you doing, man?
I like the chicks, and I also like all the different slide songs that they have. Don't diss the slide songs. I tell you what, you go to some bars in this town, and if a fight breaks out, all the DJ's got to do is play the cha-cha slide,
right?
And the fight will stop. Yeah, because I'm gonna come back for you, but I got to dance right now. On the floor. What do you say? So, in 19 after the hour, and table of contents. Is there one of the table of contents? Of course there is. But first, But first, we have to say hello to everybody on the Facebook Live. There's Randy Kruger, Shelley Gibson all the way in North Carolina, and Florence Cruz also listening in from northern, this is not Colorado, from Florence Cruz in Northern California. Carolina, sounds the same, whatever. Susan Babas, and I think still in Vegas, right? There's Ramona Nakamura. Phil Shringi from the Micronesia Mall has got his Facebook Live on this morning. Bob Camacho, there's Pete Guerrero, Bill Pettit. Neats is on. Cisco Hutapea. Ruben Mortero, who's probably waiting for me to say nice things about the new Haagen-Dazs location that they've just opened up. Congratulations to you and the team. Nice going. Lynn Vince Bora Polino. There's Army Lynn on the line. Lynn and Tommy Barcinas, Mark Cruz, Nick Perlasky, who is saying hello all the way from Salampago. You know, I appreciate you waking up extra earlier, or is it staying up late to catch the program? Lillian Cruz, I think, is listening from Silicon Valley, right? Prudential Menno got the radio on and the Facebook working in South Carolina, and Ariel Sablon is up again early this morning. Nick Perlowski chiming in again. TGIF, seriously, right? And Juanita, who a couple of days ago won the first of our Ray Gibson News quiz contest.
That's right.
Is that the name I finally decided to give it?
I think you just did.
Just seconds ago. So here's the thing. Our 100th episode is coming up on the 21st.
The 21st, which actually, I lied. It's a Thursday.
Oh, it's a Thursday?
Yeah. So,
can I take it? If I take another day off, we can. You know.
Well, we're kind of off every day around
So
here.
you know, somebody was asking me about a trip to Saipan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I thought, you know what, I don't think I've got anything earth shattering that I can't step away for to get up to Saipan. So I went to the United website and started plugging in dates, and there are apparently no more seats.
Wow.
To Saipan, like at least on the weekend. I don't know. I gotta call somebody and find out. You know, when are the openings up? Because they're only going up once a day now, as opposed to several times a day when the other guys were running everything. And so I thought, okay, well, I guess not this weekend then.
Yeah.
Well, how about the next weekend? You know, and just FYI, I'm not doing anything for several weekends in a row. So I plugged in all of the different weekends for the month of June, and it all came back saying that there was no flight availability.
How much?
It didn't give me a price because it didn't give me a.
You can't get a price quote? No.
Well, not unless unless it shows you the ticket. I mean, unless it shows you the res, right?
It's all part of their evil plan.
No,
Cut back the flights and drive up the prices because of demand.
No. You go the opposite way. I would do it the other way. Because I'm like that.
Well, you're a nice guy.
I just, you know what? Maybe we'll fly up more often. Except the plane that they use. Remember, we had this conversation. The plane that they use for that has other places that it goes. So I think it goes to Japan after that, and it makes this loop around the Pacific. So it's not like we can use the 737 like a shuttle.
Right.
So we're gonna have to come up with something else.
We're talking about flights to Rota. Now, aren't there charter airlines here, like, smaller planes that can take people up there for a reasonable fee? Couldn't these guys all get together and form a little foundation and say, okay, well, we'll start servicing Rota, and the big guys can go to Saipan?
You know, there's all these little guys that are flying around. These I don't want to call them commuter planes,
Right.
and I don't know what their range is, but like the little white flight instructor planes that you see every once in a while.
They can easily get up there. I've flown in a Cessna from Texas to Mississippi.
We're not talking about a super long distance, right?
No, it's
How far away
30
is Rota?
miles. It's 30, 40 miles or something. I mean, you can see Rota from Meridian.
Well, then why can't we drive?
we could swim, maybe.
Kilili calls for more United flights to Guam. In a letter to United Airlines, Chief Executive Officer Oscar Munoz, Congressman Greg Kilili Camacho Sablan, sorry, it's Saipan, they use all their names, has asked the air carrier to consider increasing the number of flights between Saipan and Guam today. United began a once-daily flight between the two islands when Cape Air pulled out of the market on May 31st. Cape Air had been providing multiple flights daily. This reduction in service will have a devastating effect on the traveling public. So, like I said, and maybe I was doing something wrong. You know how I am with the benefit of the doubt, especially with United, right? So maybe I was doing something wrong on the website. Maybe there was just a thing that I was clicking. And so that's why nothing came up. But I honestly couldn't see any place where I was able to get, even the thing that says, which one of these flights do you want? This is how much it's going to cost. And would you like the upgrade into first class? Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. I just want to say it's not just Saipan that's got the problem on seats. Because of United dropping their 4 morning flights to the Philippines right now, on United, there is about 2/3 of the days you cannot even get a seat to Saipan. I mean, to Saipan, to the Manila.
To Manila?
Half the when you can get the seats, the airfares have jumped up to over $700, and because the airfares have jumped on them, the other 2 airlines providing service, PAL and the other guys, have also gotten into the $600 and $700. And this is from where it was at December, where your round trips were running $350 to $450.
Somebody sent me
Go to United right now. You'll find for the rest of June, there's maybe only 3 or 4 days you can actually fly on it. What they'll do is they'll fly you to Japan on their other Star Alliance, and they'll offer you an airfare of somewhere around a couple $1,000, which is totally ridiculous.
To get Bring back Continental. Really? I mean,
I could not believe they did away with their morning flight when it was 4 times a week and always full.
Yeah. Well, I got a thing from on the WhatsApp, and I'll share it with you later on. Philippine Airlines summer seat sale. So I can't verify that, because the United prices are going up or that the seat availability is going down, that everybody else is taking advantage of it, because you can get to Manila from Guam for $249 economy.
The only problem is you have to know to book those out sometimes way ahead.
This says booked from June 4th to the 17th.
Okay.
Wait a second. And so here's what I get to. Here's what I know how to do. Give me 1 second, and I'll stick it up on the Facebook Live, so everybody can see what I'm talking about here. All right, which group is that? Okay, it's that group, and there's the clicker, and we'll put that up on the screen. Hold on 1 second, and there it is for everybody to see. The summer seat sale, book from 4 June to 17. And enjoy up to 50% off. To Manila for $249, Kuala Lumpur for $404, Taipei for $421, Singapore for $440, Ho Chi Minh for $450, Hong Kong $460, Shanghai, Shanghai's $470. That's not bad. Xiamen for $479, Jakarta for $515, Bangkok $520, and how about this? All the way to London for $1,611. So yeah, it's good. Yeah. So I don't know. It's not. A lot of people make the worry that there's just the one big guy. Philippine Airlines, also big guy. I haven't seen the Cebu Pacific numbers, but I'm sure that they're out there and available. But we're talking about worth finding. But yeah, this remember, everybody was asking for the jet service. You remember, everybody all want to find a jet service all the way up? Take me out to just one guy?
Once a day?
But yeah, the once a day thing, that's turning into a problem for a lot of people.
Not stopping on Rota, so.
If they had their round trip service at least twice a day to Saipan, it would make it doable. I mean, I've got business up there too, and it's not going to be very convenient to get back and forth anymore.
Well, let me ask Mike's question, because maybe you know some enterprising guys out there. I mean, isn't there anybody around that's got an airplane that's big enough to take a dozen people up to the NMI?
Well, other than the dozen, what I was surprised, I understand that Cape Air dropped out because United dropped their relationship with them. But why didn't Cape Air consider staying here? And I know part of it would be the fares, but the other part is they could go to the federal government and get the essential air service designation for that particular route.
If it's a fair question, I mean, that's just business. They just need to be cheaper than United.
Well, that's right. But for them to be cheaper because of the cost, there is what the federal government has, and you can Google this, as essential air service cities. If you've got to have essential, and Rota really falls into this right now, there's no reason that there should not be the filing to the federal government to get a federal subsidy for the route because of the cost of the route and the isolation of those communities. And you can't just get up and drive 100 miles to get to an airport if you're in Saipan.
No, the other point is I'm wondering how much of their relationship was through United. I mean, do they need to now negotiate separately with the Guam International Airport? Is there some other kind of covenant that they've got to get their hands? I'm just kind of curious as to how that will all work out. Anyway, an interesting topic for sure, right?
Oh, absolutely, and I think air service for Guam, and not only to the Marianas, but Guam to the U.S. I'll give you the other problem I have right now in other places, could very well become part of our campaign legislature and governor, because we do need to take action. With the pullout of Delta, you've been left with one U.S. carrier.
Correct.
You cannot fly PAL to Manila and then to the U.S. because that's called cabotage. They're not allowed to. Same for Korean Airlines or what have you, or the Japanese airlines. So you have to use a U.S. airline or stay several days en route to avoid the cabotage rule.
I recall.
Because of that, United has a monopoly now since Delta pulled out. There is no competing carrier for airfares. Cabotage prevents any carrier from providing fares to the U.S. except United, and they have a sole monopoly on it now. And I don't think the cabotage rule should apply if you've only got a choice of one airline.
That would be an interesting conversation, huh? And you're right. There might be a couple of guys that could fold that into their election campaign. 6:31 in the morning. Bob Kelly, always informative. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later.
Bottom of the hour at 6:31. Time for our first look at headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Hey, look, it's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, Guam Economic Development Authority Administrator Jay Rojas is warning that repealing the sales tax would give credit rating agencies a reason to keep a negative outlook on GovGuam finances. In a letter to Speaker Benjamin Cruz yesterday, Rojas warning that a negative outlook from the rating agencies would be detrimental to the island's access to future low-interest financing. The GIDE administrator said the rating agencies are concerned if the legislature repeals the sales tax, they're likely to keep Guam's current poor credit rating in the negative moving forward. The defense for a Guam Police Department officer accused of possessing child pornography wants the case dismissed. Gregory Quintanilla, facing allegations that he possessed pornographic video involving a minor under the age of 14. His attorney, Randy Cunliffe, argues the government didn't include a copy of the pornographic material as evidence to the grand jury that indicted his client. Cunliffe said it's required for jurors to see it and weigh it as evidence. Without seeing it, said Cunliffe, the grand jury couldn't determine whether there was reasonable cause to believe a crime had been committed. The prosecution has denied the request to turn over the video, saying it's not appropriate to produce child pornography as a matter of discovery in a trial. The Charter Schools Council has set a tentative date of June 14th to decide on the renewal application for the Guahan Academy Charter School. That's the day before the deadline required for a decision to be made. Guahan Academy is currently appealing the withholding of its accreditation candidacy status with the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. Accreditation is one criteria reviewed in the charter renewal process, and it must be obtained within 5 years of a school's operation by law. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 6:33. Portions of the program brought to you, in fact, this one here brought to you by iConnect. They want you to connect longer for less with push-to-talk and mobile plans.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Happy Father's Day. You know, we've been talking about Father's Day over the last couple of days, and it leads me to a question, Kev. When is Father's Day?
I don't know.
It's not today, right?
No, I believe it's a week from Sunday, but I don't know. I'm not looking forward to anything because none of my kids are here, and my father passed away a very long time ago. So
yeah. So I got to figure out. Somebody look at a calendar. Do me a favor, Facebook guys. When is Father's Day? And the answer is going to come. The answer will come from a guy. right? The answer is going to come from a guy because this is something that we should know. We should look forward to, right? It'll disappoint me a great deal if the answer comes from one of the ladies listening. Anyway, so ladies listening and kids listening, dads, take the cake this Father's Day. He'll love the new Oreo cookies and cream ice cream cake, plus the tall, dark, and delicious ice cream cake. Order yours online at coldstonecakes.com. By when?
Sunday, June 17th.
June 17th. So you've got between now and June 17th in order to get your delicious Cold Stone cake. Like I said, the Oreos, cookies, and cream extreme and the tall, dark, and delicious, named after me, at Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
I don't see any traffic yet. I think everybody slept in. Yeah, I just got a note from somebody, and normally I hear from them earlier in the morning, but in this case, it was like, no, there was partying last night, catching up with friends. Yeah. So how much sleep did you get? I don't know, like 3 hours? Ow. Ow. So I think everybody's might be sleeping in this morning. I don't see any hint of traffic. I'll keep an eye on the traffic gizmo, and if it starts popping up, I'll let you know about it. 6:36. That's right now. Traffic on the point.
Do you love coffee? Do you love to draw? Be one of 11 lucky winners to win a year's supply of Circle K Premium Coffee. Simply stop by Circle K and pick up a blank Circle K coffee cup so you can showcase your doodling skills. Entries will be judged on artistic skills, creativity, and originality. And winners will get free coffee every day for a year. Visit stores or 76circlekguam.com for all rules and regulations. Circle K, take it easy.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. Turn it up. Now tell a friend.
No, and that's important therapy, isn't it? You get thoughts in your head and you go, I've got to tell somebody about this. And if you don't, it's bad. It's not a good. Don't keep it all bottled up. 888-8255. Let me know about what your problem is, and then I'll make it my problem, and then we'll find a solution from like all of the like when is Father's Day? And I was right. Guys came in with the answer. There's Ron Canole says Sunday, June the 17th. Richard Arroyo chimed in again. He's it's the 17th. Not only did guys get it first, is we all agreed on the answer. That's kind of a rarity, but it's nice to see that we've got that kind of parallel thinking going on online this morning. My buddy Gino Perez is on, and I think this summer, right, Gino, we're going to be celebrating the 35th anniversary of the summer of '83, the summer that never ended. Looking forward to it. Alert the authorities. Mitchell Prashado is there. I see Mark Mendiola, Ryan St. Nicholas, Rolanda Faasua Malie is there. My old buddy Roel Bejarana is on. He says, I love Ray Gibson. You know what, Casey? I love you too. And he's got this new gig at, 93.9 in Hawaii. I'm so proud of you. And Dion Shinahara is up. Juanita Gogui Cruz, Benny Pinaula, Maria Tenorio. Deborah Wise is there. Hey, Deb, nice to see that you're up and working. Alan Alberti, and if there's names that you don't recognize, it might be relation to one of us or another. Mo Cotton is up. Hey, do me a favor when you're on the Facebook Live. There's a share button. It's a little arrow that points to the right. Click on that and share the show with your family and friends and your followers on Facebook. And who knows, maybe Monday morning they'll chime in with some of their thoughts and help out with some of the questions that we've got. Interesting, top of the fold. Let me get it for you. If you are not reading on a daily basis the Guam Daily Post, you're missing the news. I'll just say that you are missing the news. You are not being informed at what's going on. Which law do you want me to break? which is a quote that is attributed to Kathy Kakigi, the Department of Administration finance manager. Among the questions that were asked at the Department of Administration's hearing at the legislature yesterday was, tell me about this $640,000. And they used the word again, Senator Tomata used the word hijacked from the Chamorro Loan Guarantee Fund and the Chamorro Land Trust Survey and Infrastructure Fund. And I've been telling you for a month. That money there legally cannot have been hijacked. It cannot have been transferred. It cannot have been whispered away and mingled with the funds. It is in a lockbox, a so-called lockbox account at what's that? Ken?
Not locked.
somebody they forgot to get. They forgot. They get one of those. It's like a TSA lock that anybody can open, right?
Key is missing.
So $640,000 gets spirited out of the way, and the answer was, well, which law did you want me to break? So they needed the money to cover payroll, apparently, or other obligations of the general fund.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, there's money in this account. So they went and raided the account. See, and I don't even want to use the word raided. I'm going to use the word stolen. Actually, money should not have been used for any other purpose.
Actually, she did explain that all the money is kept in the general fund. For accounting purposes, it's listed in the special funds, but actually,
it's in the general fund.
In the general fund, yeah.
It's not
for accounting
but
purposes,
it shouldn't even do that. It shouldn't even do that. It should. I mean, that's just tricky. It's slushy.
Accounting.
If we say that there is a fund over here, and this is the money for the kids' education. This does not get mingled with groceries. This does not get mingled with rent. It doesn't get mingled with mortgages. It's kids' education money.
And another point to keep in mind, Vince Areola, the deputy director at the DOA, pointed out that even though the money was there, and there still is some money in those particular CLTC accounts, nobody at CLTC or land management has asked for the money to be used for the purposes intended.
What?
If they had, Areola said, they could have made amends. They could have provided some
You
money.
didn't ask me for tuition money, so I spent it on booze. If you'd asked me for it, I would have given you the money for tuition.
Use it or lose it. That's what Tom Addis said yesterday.
But that's not the law. That's not the way the law is written. And
right.
And so what's the word? Now, what did they ask for? They said go back 8 years and show me all of the different transfers that have been made into and out of all of the different funds. That's going to be some interesting make work for the guys over at the Department of Administration. Unbelievable. But the other question is, how is it, by what authority do you say you can spend special fund money and use it for the general fund? The cash management authority of the executive branch. It's just who's in charge of money here? I don't get
Who's
that.
on first?
888-8255. Again, that's 888-TALK, if you're paying attention that way. And the other questions that were asked, and it'd be interesting to see who I can get to talk about this a little bit more, is besides handling the money, besides stealing money out of the CLTC funds, they're also supposed to be in charge of doing some hiring in HR for a bunch of other departments and agencies in the government of Guam, including the Department of Revenue and Taxation, who BJ Cruz beat roundly not that long ago for not hiring a number of people for which they had appropriated funds for. They'd given them the authority to hire the people. And a lot of the answers come down to, well, it just takes a long time getting it through the process over at the Department of Administration. Really? How long could it take? Because this is the other question. I've got the printout, and I'll send you a copy of it if you don't have it. But I've got the printout of all of the hires from the beginning of this fiscal year to May. So I'm wondering, are these people that had their applications being sat on for months and months and months?
Good question.
Or how long does it take long for some positions, and short time for others? So I'll share some of that with you, because it was another thing that I was looking at as I was perusing news topics yesterday. Now, I will say you need to get a copy of the Guam Daily Post and read it cover to cover, edge to edge. You will also need to get a copy of the Pacific Daily News if you pay taxes in this town. 6:44 in the morning, and the Department of Revenue and Taxation has an insert in today's PDN, the Real Property Tax Division, public notice, the 2017 delinquent tax assessment. Yes, it's out, ladies and gentlemen. It's out. And here it is. I'm trying to figure. It's 88 pages of names, and there's people you know, names of folks and businesses that apparently owe taxes pursuant to sections I, John Camacho, tax collector of the government of Guam, declares as tax sold any and all 2017 tax assessments that are not paid by July 6th of 2018. The 2017 delinquent tax list may include payments made after May 11, 2018. The list may also list outstanding penalties and fees. However, if you claim that the 2017 tax for the herein described real property has been fully paid by the above date, please visit the office with justification to resolve the matter. Okay, this is going to be scary because I know in at least one particular case that it's probably a difference between when the money got stuck in escrow and when it went out of escrow, and so there is going to be a nick here for at least one person that I know. And so, but now if you disagree, then you've got to go and show proof that the Department of Revenue and Taxation is wrong. How much fun is that going to be? But you know, before I lay into them on that, I gotta. Can I tell you what my great victory was yesterday? Hello, boys. Can I tell you what my great victory?
We're waiting. We're on edge. Man, tell us.
It's Friday. What is it with you guys on Fridays?
Sorry, I was putting on my makeup.
Don't you make me forget where I was headed.
It's my job to make you laugh, too.
Yesterday, instead of taking my usual 3-hour nap in my silk pajamas and my 500 thread count sheets, I went to the satellite office of the Department of Revenue and Taxation yesterday at the Agana Shopping Center.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And inside of, let's call it 20 minutes, I got finally my driver's license renewed. That's a little less than the reaction I was looking for. Where's the heavenly music?
Yeah,
I got my driver's license renewed, yes!
Yeah, the rest of us are actually quite happy about that. Where is my
I feel like an adult.
There it is.
I feel like it's... I'll take you back to the 1990s. It felt exactly the same way as when I dropped off my videos back to the video rental place on time. Yes, look at me. Yeah. I can be an adult. Yeah.
How often did that actually happen?
Hardly ever. Hardly ever. You know, so I'm sitting there going, 35 years old, man, this is a great feeling for me. But by the time I was 35, my father had owned a business, had kids, you know, and just built a house with his bare hands. And it's a good day for me if I can get my videos back in time. Yeah, it's that time in the world, ladies and gentlemen. 888-8255. Again, that number is 888-8255. I was wanting to talk to this guy just anyway. I understand there was a conversation over at the Rotary Club that took place, and they gave Tony Lummerin a free lunch in exchange for vital information about the comings and goings of the Department of Corrections. Good morning, Antonio.
Good morning. I just want to know, did you go on the Manamco line to make it 20 minutes?
I couldn't find the Manamco line. Do they have one at the satellite branch?
Oh, I don't know. I got mine this week also, but I went to the one over in Barragata.
Yeah, and that one has the Manamco line. I swear I try to use that every single time. And somebody asked me about that. I said, don't you feel bad because you're just now like 56? And I said, no. You know, you ever look back at the crowd that you left behind? You know, the under 55s that are going to be there for an hour, maybe 2 hours. And I say, no, I don't look back at them at all. No, don't look back in anger. Don't look back with any kind of hubris at all. I'm moving forward. It's the next big thing in our lives, right? So no, I didn't ask because the other thing was when I got there, it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So like all of the regular crowd had gone and the teenage crowd hadn't come in yet.
You know, I forgot all about the Agana. I should have gone to the Agana.
Yeah, I mean, it was tight. I filled out the application, sat down. The guy shot my eyes with the gizmo and took a picture, and I signed a couple of things. And then the next stop was to go see the guy over at the window. No, go see the lady at the treasurer's office. And then from her, then right next door was the guy that actually printed out the card. And I got to say, I like the new look of the driver's licenses. That should know that was nice. You know, I think we need to come out with some different ones because they're all kind of the same. You know, and I appreciate the new look. Like it's like license plates. Let's go get some more. Let's go get some different patterns, right? So like you can get different checks at First Hawaiian.
Like checks, right? Where you pick the design.
Yeah. It's like a Hello Kitty. I want. You know, did you watch the Troy Torres video last night?
No, I didn't.
No, so it's the Troy Torres with the Burger King hat on.
No, I didn't watch.
So he's got this Burger King crown on, right? So I'm thinking that would look great. It's kind of the background art on my thing, right?
Nice.
What do you? You could sell that for extra at the department. We could eliminate the deficit. Are you following me, Tony?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. It's fine. We could pay the overtime at the Department of Corrections with these patterns. You know, moms will want pictures of their kids. Right? Dads will want pictures of their kids, you know, or a picture of the car that they're driving. You know, they get that nice Hilux from the 70s. I'm just saying. All right, so more to serious conversation. It looks like you are, again, moving into a time where you're racking up some overtime. You lost a few guys since the last time we talked?
Right. As a matter of fact, just this week alone, five corrections officers resigned for various reasons, but you know, I do exit interviews with each of them, and you know, get their input on the reason they're leaving, and you know, how we can best improve the facility. And a good majority of them, it's because of the stress and overworked. You know, currently we have them on a 5-day, 12-hour shift, and a lot of times when they're 2 days off, we may have to call them in. Recall them because someone's sick or someone's on military duty or, you know, on vacation. So it's a real stressful job for them.
Is that not something that's vetted in the application process? I mean, obviously we don't want to hire snowflakes for the Department of Corrections.
Yeah, and we do. You know, we go through a string of evaluations with psychological. We do a financial as well as a background check. And then we're real upfront with them, and even through the entire training process. But, you know, you don't really realize it until you actually get on duty and you actually feel it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that and the time constraints and time away from the family, and you've got these guys scheduled like firemen, so 12 on, 12 off, 3 days on, 3 days off.
When I first came on board, we were able to hire 36 additional officers, and because of that, we actually went on a 3.5 on, 3.5 off schedule. That was 3 days at 12 hours and 1 day at 6. And, you know, it was great. I mean, the officers really enjoyed it. Their overtime was minimal, but you know, quality of life is more important than money.
No, I agree with you 100%. You'd mentioned hiring, and that goes back to something that I was talking about with Kevin, and I guess it came up at the Department of Administration's battle at the legislature. I mean, their hearing at the legislature, and they indicate that you know, they're working with the departments and agencies. I think the senators, BJ among them, disagree because it seems to be that there are a lot of places that would like to hire more people, but there seems to be a bottleneck at the Department of Administration. Do you experience that as well?
Well, we get that, but, you know, a lot of it with the law enforcement departments is that unlike other departments, if you're hiring, for example, an accountant, I mean, the accountant, once you hire them, you can start them on Monday. With law enforcement, we go through the entire security screening, background checks, and so forth. And by the time we get them trained and into positions, you know, almost a year has gone by. So when we hire someone, we don't put them on the job right away. It takes almost a year before they're actually on the job.
Yeah. So the job itself, being able to find the guys, train the guys, vet the guys, is its own kind of bottleneck. There's a story in all of the media this morning about some more contraband found in a surprise sweep over at the Department of Corrections. Boy, that seems to be a problem to get a handle on, isn't it?
It's you know, it's very difficult. It's the way the facility is built. Our fence lines are very close to the road.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to throw things in. And when you have a shortage in manpower, you know, you can't cover every post on a 24/7 basis.
Do you have cameras that point to that road?
You know, we're getting cameras. We've got coverage about 70% of the perimeter, and we're installing cameras I believe in about 3 or 4 weeks, probably by the end of the summer, we should have full 100% coverage of the perimeter.
Yeah, because that might help. I would have started there if that's where you think the ingress of the drugs or whatever the contraband is. Now it kind of amused me because you know my sense of humor. I guess they got the guy with he had an iPod. Is that contraband?
Yeah, iPod, a cell phone. You know, we've actually cut down on contraband tremendously. We do daily shakedowns.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that? With the guy having an iPod?
It's not. Again, it's not an approved device that they can have. They can have some devices, but iPod is not one of them.
Because why?
You can make arrangements with your friends outside to do nasty things.
I'm just listening to songs.
Devices,
just listening to songs. Well, I mean, I don't know with the new iPods. I guess they've got some kind of communications capabilities. But is there Wi-Fi at the hotel at the Department of Corrections? Yeah. So I mean, unless he's got access to some kind of Wi-Fi, it wouldn't maybe bouncing it back through the phones, but use the phones then. I was kind of curious. That one took me. If there's somebody on the Facebook Live that understands why that would be contraband, then I'd love to hear the story behind that. Let me ask you a question from a hat that you used to wear a long time ago.
Sure.
If you don't mind, because I consider you, I think you still have a lot of expertise and a lot of understanding of the way the hospitality industry works here and indeed how delicate it is. I guess some of the conversation that took place at the SES meeting yesterday envisioned an increase in the hotel occupancy tax, taking it up to 15% and a departure facility surcharge on car rentals. And I looked at that and immediately thought, wait a second, we're not in the strongest position of all time in our hospitality industry with the decline in Japanese numbers and an increase, if you will, in the more thrifty Korean market. Are we sure we want to do this?
Yeah, you know, anytime you raise the taxes on the visitor industry, could actually affect, you know, the outcome in the long run. You know, we have to realize that, you know, we're not the only market in town. There are other destinations that we compete against, and especially on the car rentals. You know, we are now in the process where we're getting a good number of independent travelers, and these individuals are the ones who rent the vehicles. And when we raise taxes on rent-a-cars, are we now putting more restrictions on those type of travelers?
Yeah, and there may be other places where they're going to get a better deal, and so those couple of ideas, and then BJ's idea last week about implementing an increase in the landing fees, which at least some people say is not going to make much of a difference in terms of making any money, and might act for the customs guys, but it might actually be cause for the Guam International Airport to raise the rent to the customs guys.
Yeah, and you know, it just anytime. Especially when you compound it. Now you're talking about rent-a-cars, you're talking about the fees at the airport, and as you compound it, and now you're talking about the hotel occupancy tax and so forth. You know, it just eventually all adds up. So, you know, this is the #1 market, and we have to be very careful what we impose on it.
Don't disagree. Hey, listen, I appreciate your time. And did I do one last thing before we?
Just to let you know, Ray, too. You know, that day we found contraband.
Yeah.
We did 2 shakedowns and 2 posts, and on the other post it had a negative finding, and yesterday we had a shakedown and negative findings as well.
Yeah. So it's obviously, and the guy's been rearrested for those. Did you just graduate a group of female DEPCOR employees?
Yeah, that was a great ceremony yesterday. You know, we're trying to do rehabilitation programs at DOC, and DOC has never really done anything specifically for women. So we're now doing programs that include women, and it was a great program for them because you know, now they feel part of all the services that DOC offers.
Yeah. I was running yesterday in Agana, and I was behind a lady with a DEPCOR shirt, and I was tempted to ask her, "Are you staff or are you a client?"
Now wait a minute, was it orange in DOC? Then you should have called us right away.
Oh, so no, it wasn't orange. It was black. It was black with DEPCOR on it, and then some words. You know.
Staff.
Okay, probably staff. Okay, so it's the orange ones. Can I get one of those? So no, because I've always wanted to do this. I get like a DEPCOR shirt.
We'll give you an orange one.
And handcuffs, and then knock on the doors down there. Excuse me, do you have a hacksaw? Anybody here have a hacksaw? Hey, I got to run. I'll talk to you later.
All right, take. Have a good weekend.
I'm going to have a great weekend. That's my plan so far. 888-8255. Callers on hold. We'll get to you in the next hour. We got a bunch of stuff to get to in the next hour. Jerry Roberts, the Extra Point. I'll take a look and see where Tapas is going to spend the weekend, where the West Texas Crude is going to spend the weekend. But in the meantime, we've got news for you coming up from our friends over at the Fox. It's absolutely live, not pre-recorded, not downloaded. This is a live newscast from their network center in New York City. And then what do we got? Kevin Kerrigan, who's right here next to me in the broadcast center here at Choice Broadcasting, and he's going to give you news from the Guam Daily Post. That's all ahead on KUSG Agana.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. Anything can happen.
We could absolutely sign an agreement. We're looking at it. We're talking about it with them.
But President Trump also says he's still willing to walk away if the summit with North Korea's leader doesn't go well. The U.S. still pushing for eventual denuclearization. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has met Kim Jong-un twice and laid the groundwork for next week's summit, but he refused to say whether he trusts Kim or reveal President Trump's approach to the negotiations.
It's not about who has the upper hand. It's about trying to find a way where the two sides can come to an understanding where we can get concrete steps, not just words, that resolve this challenge.
President Trump earlier said he would expect to normalize relations with North Korea should Kim follow through with any agreement in a way that meets U.S. expectations. Lisa?
Thanks, John. But the president also saying during a joint news conference with Japan's prime minister today, he has over 300 additional sanctions ready for North Korea, holding off on them for now because of the chance of a deal. The two leaders also talking about trade.
The United States seeks a bilateral deal with Japan that is based on the principle of fairness and reciprocity.
The president heads to Canada tomorrow for the G7 summit, facing some other key allies vowing to fight new U.S. tariffs. House Republicans still in search of compromise on immigration.
The best we can do is basically make sure that we exhaust the possibilities of coming together as a House Republican conference to bring a bill to the floor that everyone can support.
Speaker Paul Ryan with no breakthroughs to announce after an initial meeting today. A mixed ending on Wall Street. The Dow up 95 points, but the NASDAQ retreats after 3 record highs. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off. I can't believe it. I can't believe it either. I paid more than the minimum each month, and soon enough, it was gone.
So you're just giving up?
Giving up on what?
The life of luxury. Egyptian cotton, caviar Thursdays, designer everything.
What are you talking about?
Our plan. What happened to winning the lottery and mastering the art of the perfect mimosa? Hosting galas, wearing enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacationing in the French Riviera, and then buying it.
I just thought maybe it was time to prepare for my future. You know, set some financial goals, make some smart investments, open a 401k.
Financial goals? Investments? A 401k? You are horrifying right now. Listen, if winning the lottery were easy, everyone would do it.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
New discoveries from Mars.
NASA's Curiosity rover has been on Mars for 6 years, and scientists like Jen Eigenbrod now say there's proof of carbon-based organic molecules.
We found organic molecules in rocks from an ancient lake bed. Those organic molecules could have come from life. We don't know that there was ever life on Mars.
Researcher Chris Webster says they detected methane spikes before.
Today we're announcing a discovery of a repeatable, identifiable seasonal pattern in the methane measurements.
Another researcher said the rover also proved that the site they chose to explore was home once to water-filled rivers and lakes. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The driver killed in a Tesla crash while using autopilot should have had his hands on the wheel. That bottom line from a preliminary NTSB report on the March crash in California. Investigators say the Model X gave 2 visual and 1 audible instruction to take the wheel, and in the minute before the crash, the driver's hands were on the wheel for more than 30 seconds, but not in the final 6 seconds. The report also finding that in the final 3 seconds, the car's speed increased. A Shriners Hospital in Galveston, Texas, now treating 6 children with severe burn injuries from a volcano in Guatemala.
A multidisciplinary team is providing all aspects of burn care, including surgery, treatment, rehabilitation, and psychological support.
Hospital spokesman Mel Bauer, at least 99 people are confirmed dead from the Volcano of Fire's Sunday eruption, but many more remain missing. It buried villages in hot ash. Guatemala's disaster agency has suspended the search for more survivors. Late word that Aleta is now the first hurricane of the Pacific season off the coast of Mexico, still expected to keep moving away from land, however. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Chili's Smokehouse menu just got tastier with their new smoked honey chipotle short ribs, marinated and smoked for hours. Try the smoked honey chipotle short ribs and chicken combo, or enjoy the family combo with mouth-watering honey chipotle short ribs, Texas-sized baby back ribs, crispy chicken, and juicy barbecue chicken served with home-style French fries and corn on the cob. It's the Chili's Smokehouse menu, now with smoked honey chipotle short ribs, available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
The island's fastest growing newspaper is giving you more.
More local news,
More local sports,
more local features,
and more ways to access the news you want to read.
home delivery,
Digital subscriptions online on postguam.com.
on social media, and now on a mobile app. It's your news, your way.
Download the Guam Daily Post app for Android and iOS today.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth, from vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams. We're all concerned with protecting our world's water, but none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Speaker Benjamin Cruz warning that the planning for the 2019 fiscal year budget is threatened by efforts to repeal the sales tax due to take effect on October 1st. During a special economic services meeting yesterday, he said there is a push by at least 8 members to have a session this month to repeal that sales tax. The uncertainty, said the speaker, is completely throwing off all our preparations for writing a budget. During yesterday's SES meeting, the speaker admonished the administration's fiscal team to come prepared to the next SES meeting on June 21st and report on their tax collection efforts. He said if we don't hear good news from the fiscal strike force about its collection efforts, there really will be 10, maybe 11, 12, or 13 votes for repealing the sales tax. Meanwhile, outgoing Public Auditor Doris Brooks said GovGuam is on track to report its first significant surplus in fiscal year 2017. Brooks telling lawmakers and members of the administration's fiscal team yesterday that The surplus is the result of aligning expenditures with revenues and not due to bond borrowing, she said. Brooks credited the good cash management implemented by the Department of Administration and the governor. The fiscal 2017 audit, however, is not complete, and the amount of the surplus is still being calculated. Brooks did not give an estimate of what that surplus might be. However, she said that the bad news is that GovGuam still has a cumulative deficit of between $80 and $100 million that's built up over the past several years, and that's why GovGuam continues to be strapped for cash, she said. The governor's office issued a release following Brooks' remarks, pointing out that the deficit was $350 million when the Calvo administration took office back in 2011, and they've continued to chip away at it. We'll have more news after this.
Circle K has just made it easier to select products that are better for you and your healthier lifestyle. When looking for items that are low carb, low sodium, low calories, low sugar, high in antioxidants, or high in protein, just look for the easy-to-spot Better For You labels so you can find these items at a glance. Come by and see for yourself. It has never been more convenient to fill up on anything and everything that are better for you. Circle K. Take it easy.
As we journey through 2018, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. The defense for a Guam Police Department officer accused of possessing child pornography wants the case dismissed. Gregory Quintanilla facing allegations he possessed a pornographic video involving a minor under the age of 14. His attorney, Randy Cunliffe, argues the government did not include a copy of the pornographic video as evidence to the grand jury that indicted him. And Cunliffe says it's required for jurors to see it and weigh it as evidence. Without seeing it, he said, the grand jury could not determine whether there was a reasonable cause to believe a crime had been committed. Prosecution has denied the request to turn over the video, saying it's not appropriate to produce child pornography as a matter of discovery in a criminal case. No word yet on whether any tax refunds will be mailed out today. DOA Director Edward Burns said yesterday receipts this week haven't been as good as hoped for. Recently, Revan Tax has been sending out roughly $2 million in tax refunds every week. A total of $44 million in 2017 tax refunds have been paid out so far this year. $33 million of that paid out in March. The refunds paid out so far have covered error-free returns filed through February 5th. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with weather as soon as he finds it. Here it goes.
I know it is. It's right here. Mostly cloudy. Kevin, through tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy. Sunday with isolated showers and thunderstorms, light and variable winds. Daytime highs around 88 degrees and overnight lows about 78 degrees. 6:46 is sunset tonight, and I think we're finally getting our sunsets back. I don't know if you noticed. I went to my sunset spot last night and watched this, and it was gorgeous. And it was one of those sunsets where every 5 minutes it was a new sunset.
Yeah, that's what's beautiful about living out here.
Yeah, and so the place where I was at, there people talk, and then they'd get up and take pictures. And they go back to talking and get up and take pictures. It's nice. Sunrise this morning, 5:53. Tomorrow morning, about 5:52 or so. That's news and weather today. What's that? No,
actually, the sun's going to start coming up later every day and setting later as well. And that's just part of the deal with us being down here.
Is it
it's just, we're approaching the solstice, and so things just kind of balance out that way.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Okay. All right. So maybe, because I noticed the gray line was coming up a little bit earlier this morning.
Yeah, and today is actually the last day. Today the sun came up a minute later than it did yesterday.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's how we do it.
Not bad. All right. That's what we need to tell you about. That's news, weather, and moon information, solar information on the Ray Gibson Show here on The Point.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Here's what I want you to do. It's Friday, and I don't want you to waste a second of Friday. And you know where we waste a lot of time, people? We waste a lot of. We go to a restaurant and they hand us the menu, and then you got to go and sift through the menu. Do I want this? Do I like that? Da-da-da-da. You know what? Save yourself some time. Go to King's and don't even ask for the menu. Just sit down and say, I want beef tenactac, because that's a special. Just say, give me the special for today, and they'll come out with a bowl of tenactac for you, and you'll be the happiest guy in the world. Now, if you do have some extra time, you want to waste some weekend time, you're more than welcome to peruse the menu, try the pick 2 or pick 3 combo that they've also got there. But, you know, if you're like me, path of least action guy, that just is another way of saying lazy, then it's King's for lunch, baby.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegui of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan, protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
What? There's more. I'm supposed to tell you about First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts. I can do that. And a reminder, as I've done all week long, I give them a little bit extra time because they're doing something great in the First Hawaiian Bank family for their family in Kauai that is having such, I'm sorry, not Kauai, the Big Island, that is having such a hard time. What was it? Somebody had written in the deal here. Mo Cotton had written, lava from the Kilauea volcano spilled across highways and into Hawaii's Green Lake, a major source of fresh water on the Big Island, and evaporated all of it.
Well, I responded to that, and it did fill the lake, but Green Lake is merely it was a crater from a former caldera that formed there many years ago.
I see.
And it filled with fresh water, both from the rainfall and from underground springs. The islands of Hawaii are actually sourced, their water source is an underground aquifer, and Green Lake, there's no way that small lake could even possibly give the Big Island all its water.
All right, so it's
partially
interesting
correct,
that it happened.
It
But
did
we're
happen,
not
though.
talking about devastation and destruction because now nobody has water on the Big Island.
But I'll tell you something, man. That whole thing going on over there has really become a significant thing. I mean, it may never be the same over there again.
Well, they're talking about didn't something big open? Didn't they?
Well, the caldera is actually collapsing now because it's deflated to such an extent that the walls around it are collapsing in. The lookout area for Halimau crater is gone. It's in the caldera now. This is where people just 2 months ago were standing out there going, "Oh, look at the beautiful volcano." It's never going to be the same.
So they need a lot of help, and so the guys over at First Hawaiian have got the Aloha for Hawaii Fund that is going. They've extended it until June 30th, and my guess, as I said yesterday, is it's probably going to get extended indefinitely at some point. So if there's some extra scratch that you've got in your wallet, then make sure that you find Ed Antalan or somebody over at First Hawaiian and let them know that you'd like to help. It's 7:16. First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
The Coconut Wireless is back. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
See, I was going to do that. I was going to unplug my headphones, go to my office and grab my wallet so I could get a picture, so I could show you my new driver's license. I'm really happy about this because I'm like the laziest guy in the whole wide world, and my driver's license expired on my birthday, which was May the 11th, and so I've been driving around with an expired driver's license, and it's
bad boy
everywhere I go. Where I've got to pull out my driver's license. The guys, sir, just to let you know, this
that happened to me too.
This is expired, sir. So what's the problem? I'm just using it for an identification. I'm still me. Whether the driver's license is expired or not, it's okay because it still has a picture of me and my name and a current address and all of that stuff. So I got in, and it's one of my favorite innovations that they've done over at RevTax and the driver's license division. I got a 5-year license. got a 5-year license, right? So it's like 2024, something like that, before I've got to get a new driver's license, which is perfect for me. I just hope I live that long. So thanks to everybody over at the Agagna shop for making it that much more exciting. You know, the crazy thing was when I was paying, the guy looked at my driver's license, which has the name William on it, because that's my Rev Tax Bank name. It's William. It's my prison name. And so the guy says, "Hey, Bill, how you doing?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm all right. How you doing?" He says, "Hey, don't you remember we used to live together over in Guerrero Court in Maina?"
And you haven't changed a bit in years.
And I'm thinking, you're thinking about my father. Who died at 83? I don't know, but Terry, he remembers you and the family. 7:19 in the morning, and it is time for us to take a look at what happened on the market. Are there good news? Well, kind of a mixed bag here on the S&P 500. Everybody was up yesterday, but today not so good. 2770 for the S&P 500, off by almost 2 points. Nasdaq at 7635. They were off by 54 points, but the Dow Jones Industrial Average managed to skim a little bit over the top here. 25,241, up by 95 points, and that's a piece of decent news here. Where the Japanese market's going to open up. Nikkei's at 22,823, so they're going to open in the green this morning. Hang Seng is up by almost over 250 points, 31,512, and the Shanghai index was off by just a couple of points. 3,108 is where they ended up, and that's where they're going to open up today. Oil is trading at $65.95 for an ounce. Remind me to start keeping track of LNG, liquefied natural gas, because that's what they're going to start using at the Power Authority, right? It'd be wise to start
years ahead.
Well, yeah, one of these days. So no rush, right? Gotcha. Got you. As I said, West Texas trading at $65.95. That's up by $1.22. TAP is up by just 11 cents from yesterday. 76.91. Personally, I want to see that number drop down to $4 or $5 a barrel, but since that's not going to happen, I'll be happy at about $75, $74 a barrel, and maybe that will give the guys over at the gas stations an opportunity to bring the prices down when they change the little slogans underneath, right? 7:20 in the morning, and that's what happened in the market. Time now for Jerry Roberts to bring us the extra point.
How to get a pay raise. I'm Jerry Roberts, and in the second part of this conversation, we get into the mindset behind it. That's next up on The Extra Point. Yesterday, we began to talk about the issue of getting a pay raise. If you missed it, go to GuamTraining.com and download transcript number 86. If you did your homework yesterday and now have a pretty good idea of where you stand in your industry, we can move on to how you might make your approach. A survey done in 2015 by PayScale, a compensation research company, showed that 44% of people who requested a raise got everything they asked for. 31% got some of what they wanted, and 25% got nothing. Timing is critical. The biggest mistake is waiting until you're sitting at your annual review and then asking for more money. If you're working for a company that actually creates budgets for things like payroll, you need to know when those decisions are made and then get your request in well beforehand. Otherwise, it presents a potential roadblock. Even if your employer is more flexible, you'll still need to make your case effectively. You'll want to convince the decision maker on at least one of the following factors: that you, 1, are doing more than what you were hired for, 2, can prove your impact to the company, and 3, have a plan for the coming year that justifies the extra compensation. Questions. What is the employer's plan for the next 12 to 24 months? What have they said they really want to accomplish? How can you help them achieve their goals faster? More. Is there a recurring problem that gives your boss a headache and costs money? Hey boss, the company is spending about $10,000 a year on this problem. I asked for 8% on top of my current $40,000 salary, and that would add $3,200. How about this? You give me 6% now, and if I get rid of your $10,000 problem, you kick it up to 10%. You see, now it's a negotiation. Or, as I understand it, boss, you want a bid and have to deliver A and B and C this year. I can help take some of that off your plate. If I do, I think a 10% increase is reasonable. Some people are afraid to ask. Why? You're not going to get fired for asking. The worst that can happen is the boss says no. If I'm the employer, I want to keep my best people, and I know that will cost more over time. I want to have the conversation so our relationship remains solid. However, I'm busy with 1,000 other things and likely won't initiate it. Here's a variable. What if they offer less than what you ask for? You can accept and then ask, how can you qualify for the rest of what you want? How about bonuses or other benefits? More vacation time, flex time, more training. Maybe they'll send you to an industry conference or give you a company car. There are lots of options. Asking for a raise tells you where you stand. If your homework shows that you deserve it and you can make your case on why the company benefits, you may just get what you want. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, I'm Jerry Roberts.
Go out there and get a raise. He just gave you, the instructions are clear, ladies and gentlemen. Go to GuamTraining.com and download that today. Thank you, Jerry Roberts, for a great week of Extra Points here on The Point.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
From September 17 to September 19, 2018, the Archdiocese of Hagåtña will be conducting settlement conferences with victims of clergy abuse. If you have a claim and want to meaningfully participate in the September settlement conferences, call Hope and Healing Guam at 1-888-649-5288 before August 1st, 2018. All conversations with Hope and Healing Guam are confidential. If you have filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese, you are already included in this settlement process.
Is there traffic? And according to the traffic gizmo, no, there is no traffic right now. There's cars building up in some of the usual places, but I don't see any place where it is actually slowing anybody down. So I'm going to keep the traffic report short so we can talk about some other reports. That's how we do right now traffic on The Point.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Are you a veteran or on active duty looking for a home loan and VA eligible? Then Bank Pacific stores are open to you, where we are a VA-approved preferred lender. That simply means we can give you faster credit approvals and loan closing. And with today's super low rates, you just can't go wrong. Bank Pacific's My VA Loan, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
Follow-ups, because I think follow-ups are important. Tony hasn't gotten back to me on why exactly it is that iPods, not iPads, not iPhones, but an iPod would be contraband at the Department of Corrections. He didn't have the answer at the top of his head. Brad chimed in this morning on Facebook, says prisoners have fights over a bag of chips. Just think what would happen if they were expensive electronic devices in prison. Man, you know, and the idea that this guy's his playlist. I wonder what was on his iPod playlist.
That's right. It was an iPod. I was thinking of something different, wasn't I?
Yeah. So it was like an iPod. What songs do they listen to in prison? What are the big
heavy metal?
What are the big tunes in there? What's that soundtrack you like? The Wang Chung soundtrack from. To live and die in L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's in there. 727 got a note from somebody asking me if I saw the latest Troy Torres video last night. No, I'm not watching that channel, guys. It just I don't necessarily want to get sucked into another round of what's the word I'm looking? How do I want to say that? Of here's more allegations. This is what I said is happening, and da 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 da. And I just I don't want to get sucked into it. A lot of people do. too, though. There are lots and lots of people that were watching it last night. Somebody gives me the Cliff Notes, other than the fact that he got that Burger King hat on. 7:28 in the morning, and this is important now. I'm wondering if there is anything to this. I saw it on Twitter just a second ago, and it looks like there is going to be a name change for one of Guam's favorite new restaurants out there, and that is IHOP. And among their managing folks is Jason Respicio. Good morning, Jace.
Hey, good morning, Ray.
So, you know what? I was trying to figure out when would be a good time to do this. You know, we might do it later in the program or have the conversation in sports, because I know that you listen to Blake and I wander through sports headlines and want to contribute. But I figured, we'll just keep it in a little business segment that we've got here. Is IHOP, IHOP, International House of Pancakes, going to be changing their name to IHOB, International House of, I don't know, whatever the B stands for?
You know what, Ray? Unfortunately, I wish I had more information to tell you, and I didn't have a good chance to get information to Michael while we talked earlier. But we're actually about 3 days, 9 hours, 30 minutes, and 40 seconds away from being able to tell all information about what's kind of going on with that.
Now, is this a national thing or is this a local thing? Do I need to call Seymour and get a new sign made? What are we going to do?
You know what? From the information that we have, it's IHOP brand across the globe.
This is going to be an interesting time for you guys, no?
I think so. They've told us a little bit of information, but we're kind of. I wouldn't say we're in the dark.
What's the B going to stand for? I mean, the speculation is it's breakfast, so it would be International House of Breakfast, because, it's not just pancakes that you guys do there. But could it also be International House of Booze?
You know what? I don't think we're going to go that far.
International House of Beer. Yes, International House of Beer. And we'll take out the kitchen part where we cook all the food and just put pull tabs like in the bar, like at Yard House in Hawaii.
Yeah, we'll just have 47 taps across there. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go there. IHOP is known for breakfast. Fortunately, out here we've done some fun things that we've been promoting with over at one of your other stations.
Yeah, over at Star. Yeah, and Boss.
Yeah. Absolutely. Actually, I think we're on Boss.
Well, I'm gonna bring you back over here. Well, that's part of the reason. This is part of the reason for the call. This is actually a sales call. Guys. This is just FYI. So don't disturb my mojo here. I'm working on closing a deal for the Point Radio and an International House of Blondes. How's that?
Yeah, actually, Ray, we tried to get back on, but I was told that you're completely sold out. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, there's. You know what? I'll make a new break just for you. What do you say? So you said we can't really talk about it. You don't have a lot of details. Everything will be known on the 11th.
Yeah, we're three days and some change away.
All right. So shall I call you again on the 11th?
You know what? I think once you find out, you'll and I find out. Maybe we'll have a little bit more conversation. But if anytime you want to come over for breakfast, lunch, or dinner at our great IHOP selections at either Chubon or Tamuning, you're more than welcome to stop by.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Jace. Have a fantastic weekend, buddy. It's the Ray Gibson Show at 7:31. And guess what? It's time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Sorry, I was trying to get you a scoop there, buddy. I was trying to get you a big business news story. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, the financial manager of the Department of Administration acknowledging that the strict letter of the law was not followed in the management of the Chamorro Land Trust Commission special funds. During DOA's budget hearing yesterday, Senator Tom Adda seeking an explanation from finance manager Kathy Kagagi for hundreds of thousands of dollars that he said was hijacked from Chamorro Land Trust specialty accounts. The money ended up in the general fund and was used for other purposes. Adda pointing out that those funds were supposed to be used for specific purposes, such as land surveys and building infrastructure on land trust properties. Kagagi said she knew the funds were supposed to be used for those purposes, but the general fund had a deficit of $105 million. Payroll had to be made, and tax refunds had to be paid, she said. The bottom line, said Kagagi, is which law do you want me to break? Guam Economic Development Authority Administrator Jay Rojas warning that repealing the sales tax would give credit rating agencies a reason to keep a negative outlook on GovGuam finances. In a letter to Speaker Benjamin Cruz yesterday, Rojas wrote that a negative outlook from the rating agencies would be detrimental to the island's access to future low-interest financing. The GITA administrator said the rating agencies are concerned. If the legislature repeals the sales tax, they are likely to keep Guam's current poor credit rating in the negative moving forward. A random shakedown at the Manila prison on Wednesday has turned up more contraband that made its way into the prison just before 5 Wednesday afternoon. Corrections officers searched cells at Post 16. They found an iPod, a cell phone, 2 chargers, 2 crystal-like stones of suspected meth, a lighter, and a straw. DOC Director Tony Lamarena said the items were found inside the cell of inmate David Mendiola, who was then arrested and reconfined. The contraband was turned over to the Guam Police Department's Mandanya Drug Task Force. An earlier shakedown at Post 5 on Wednesday turned up no contraband. Another inspection conducted at Post 17 yesterday also came up empty-handed, said the director. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
iConnect time is 7:34. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk and mobile plans.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time isn't wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
Portions of the program brought to you by APL. That's American President Lines, shipping the future.
The employees of Morocco Equipment on Guam have something very special all to themselves every morning they go to work, and that is pride. They have pride in the Morocco Equipment logo, and they have pride in wearing the Morocco Equipment uniform. They have pride in driving each Morocco Equipment service truck and in operating the Morocco Equipment lowboy heavy haul tractor. Morocco Equipment employees have pride in their company because they own the company. Morocco Equipment is now an employee-owned company. If you would like to join the Morocco Equipment ESOP team, please apply via moroccoequipment.com.
Well, you know, it's not often that I disagree with an advertiser. Cold Stone Creamery is talking about their ultimate ice cream experience. Can I tell you what the actual ultimate ice cream experience is? Bueller? This is it. The ultimate ice cream experience is a bowl of chocolate ice cream. I'm sorry, bowl of Rocky Road ice cream.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. On top of which is poured some more Hershey's chocolate. On top of which is sprinkled, and it's hard to find, so you got to look for it in the grocery store, grape nuts. Right? Are you feeling that?
I love grape nuts. Good.
Grape nuts on top of the chocolate ice cream with the chocolate syrup on it. And then what you do is you stick it in the microwave for like 7 seconds. And it softens the thing up completely. So it's almost like an ice cream grape nut soup.
That sounds okay. Yeah.
That is the ultimate ice cream experience. And perhaps something that they will fix up for you at Cold Stone Creamery. In the meantime, dads, take the cake for Father's Day. He'll love the new Oreo Cookies and Cream Extreme Ice Cream Cake, plus a tall, dark, and delicious ice cream cake. Sounds pretty good, too. Order yours online at coldstonecakes.com. Only at Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dedito 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
See if I can scare up some traffic. Now I'm looking at the traffic gizmo, and I said, cars are starting to pile up, but nothing seems to be slowing anybody down into and out of the main gate of Anderson Air Force Base. Further south on Marine Corps Drive, does it look like it's going to get ugly over at 1 and 3? Not yet. It still looks pretty quiet there. Coming into the Barragata area, just leaving 8, 10, and 16, you might feel a little bit of traffic before you get to that one good entrance to Teedson until I can convince the Admiral to let us open up the Seagull Avenue. You know, I know the Admiral, and maybe I might be able to twist an arm or two. Southbound Marine Corps Drive, you might see a little bit of line of traffic developing in front of Big Navy down in Sumai, but that's about it. That's right now traffic at 7:38 on the point.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Thanks for backing me up, Anna. Finally, she says. Happy weekend to everybody. That's Anna Kilroy, Joe Cruz, the real Joe Cruz, Chris Shelton online. Vivian Cunningham is there, too. I see Ron Wolf, who's giving me a hard time. He says, your main wall that talks about the show says it's Friday, but you spelled it F-I-R-D-A-Y. That's the way we spell it here. If there's another way to spell it, I don't know it. F-I-R-D-I-Y. Hey, happy Fur Day. It's the launch of the ramping of the weekend, Freaky Fur Day.
I find that perfectly acceptable myself.
Agree. Good morning, Anna Scambaluri. Hug to the old man for us. I see Teddy Fernandez has joined Anita Santos, Henry Gonzalez, my old classmate. There's Clint Jane, Sheila Bickle, who is celebrating her birthday today by watching the program on Facebook Live. Michael Abio, Chalorna Laron, Jerry Roberts is on because he likes to hear his. He's like me. Wait a second. There's a recording of me that's going to play. I need to hear this. Put the headphones on real tight. Richard Ibanez and Ed and Karen Untalan are there, and Susan Abrego. Marcel Camacho is on, and I see Sue Lee from the PDN. Nice to see you there. Crystal Schnabel and a whole bunch of other folks that this is how they start their day. And if you're wondering what the heck it is I'm talking about, we do a program and we feed it to Facebook Live every morning. Our goal here is a concept of any speaker, anytime, any screen, anytime. So you should be able to hear us in all kinds of places. The HD3 on Boss 104, our regular channel at 93.3. You can also hear us online at thepoint.gu. Tune in, Next Radio, Streama. We're all over the place. So fairly easy to find if you can't get us one way or the other on the radio. Now, I was looking over a couple of pieces of paperwork, some correspondence, if you will, between a variety of people, a letter written to B.J. Cruz from Jay Rojas over at the Guam Economic Development Authority, and him and the governor and his fiscal team music, come on. Let it establish. The governor and his fiscal team met with both Standard & Poor's and Moody's ratings analysts last week to provide an update on action taken by the government to maintain fiscal security. The team discussed a long-term solution developed to address the revenue shortfall, which included the temporary increase of the BPT from 4% to 5%, and then additional steps to be taken in October, yada, yada, yada. Needless to say, the team are concerned that the legislature is considering a repeal of the general sales tax and express caution that this would more than likely continue to keep the current Guam credits in a negative situation going forward. The negative actions or outlook taken by the ratings agencies will be detrimental to the island's access to future low-interest financing. Here's an idea. Let's stop borrowing. Let's stop going and borrowing some more. Is it just impossible to live within our means one way or the other? With just no more access to future low-interest financing. So I guess that means that we can't take out a loan. I applied. I got probably the only guy this has ever happened to, right? I got a note from one of these banks, and it said, hey, you've been pre-approved for a brand new credit card. And so I wrote to them. I said, okay, sign me up. And they come back later on and said, oh, you know about that pre-approval. There's been a development. And we're not going to be able to give you. So guess what? I don't have access to that credit. I guess it means that I've got to pay down all of my other debt obligations, or I've got to increase my revenue, or I've got to cut my spend. one way or the other. Those are my options, guys. And you know, maybe a garage sale or something like that to get rid of crap that I'm not using anymore.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll do something along those lines. But maybe that's if you sorry. That's just the way it is. It's negative for a reason, and because we have not yet solved all of the underlying issues here. So I'm sorry if that's just the way it is. You can't take it out on the people. And as is written in another piece of correspondence, this time to the Honorable Joe S. San Augustin, and it is penned by Catherine Castro, who is the president of the Guam Chamber of Commerce, local lady. President of the Guam Chamber of Commerce, may I point out, and it talks about different ways that we might be able to skin this sales tax cat, and so I thought maybe I'd give Bobby Shringi an opportunity to talk about this, but the community, she says. This is the most important part. And, Bobby, you can underscore this. The community should not be placed in a position to continuously bail out its government, particularly when pay raises and new hires continue to exist during a financial crisis. Concurrently, more work needs to be done to prioritize expenditures at GMH, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Ray. How you doing, by the way?
You know, I'm okay. I'm okay. You know what? I've got this new Garmin watch, and it tells me when my heart rate goes up. So when I start reading truths like that, when I start reading the truth like that, you know what? I get excited.
You know, so do I. So do I. But you know, I mean, you know, I don't know where to start, but I guess if we're going to start talking about the sales tax and all that's going on, sometime about a year ago, I recall with the Guam Chamber of Commerce, what we expressed during the time when there was a discussion on raising the GRT, or the BPT rather, by 19%. I think it was supposed to go from 4 to 4.75%. One of the concerns that we identified was that has the government addressed its collection issue? And we weren't given a response. It's raise the tax or that's about it. A couple months later, there were discussions on legislation to take away the exemptions from wholesalers, insurance companies, change the way banks are done. And once again, this was all a reaction towards an OPA report that stated collections was a huge issue. Remember that time when, at the latter part of the year, it started becoming a revolving issue? The Chamber expressed our concerns that before we start looking at putting solutions on the table that ultimately would impact consumers, has the government addressed collections? Now, fast forward a couple months later, suddenly the sky is falling. Suddenly, certain agencies are being shut down. There were discussions on raising taxes. We once again reiterated the fact that, hey, listen, have collections been addressed? Unfortunately, the BPT was increased by 1 point. I guess the experts were asked, hey, what's going to happen to prices? Well, for the most part, they're going to go up.
Yep.
And unfortunately, after 6 months, when the BPT gets back to 4%, assuming that no extensions are provided, well, the chances are they're probably going to still stay up there. And then you add this 2% sales tax. Now, once again, the Chamber came out and said, hey, listen, what about collections? Have that been addressed? Now we're in a situation where it's very clear that collections have been, is an issue. And, the Chamber's position on this latest attempt to repeal is saying, hey, listen, a new tax was created. It was, I guess, just sort of rushed into over a 4 or 5 day period with a number of amendments that today it's just not very clear. For example, you remember when wholesalers raised the issue and showed the graphics on what would happen if the wholesale tax was created, a GRT was applied on wholesale products. It would ultimately affect the consumer. Well, the current law is not very clear if wholesalers should or should not be applying a sales tax every time they sell their goods to a retailer. And if you do that, what happens is
double taxation.
Exactly. There's also a lot of other vague questions. So what we're saying is, hey, listen, first of all, let's repeal the sales tax, right? Let's get back to the drawing board. Now, keep in mind, and I keep reading these reports over and over again saying, well, the business community said they wanted a sales tax, so we're giving them a sales tax. Well, point of clarification.
Yes.
I think the story in the PDN in regards to the position by the Chamber clarifies that. The Chamber has always been a strong proponent of a phase-in, phase-out conversion. You take the BPT, you eventually go down the line, and it's not going to happen overnight. We understand a big chunk of the BPT is pledged in the bond market.
Correct.
Whether it takes 5 years or 6 years, you phase it out to the point where eventually BPT zeroes out and a sales tax replaces it. Now, competition and the market forces will eventually allow businesses who are now not paying the same amount of BPTs to eventually start looking at competitive reasons why they would have to drop their prices. So ultimately, there's a long-term goal. But at the end of the day, that's the position we've always held. Now's a good time to entertain that issue. Repeal the current sales tax, which is 2% on top of 4%. And I greatly fear for some reason that extra point is probably going to be extended. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, well, you and I have the same spidey sense now, and the deal is, and this is the kabuki that I'm looking at. This is the way it's going to shake out. Is there's all these people that are interested, and what they want to do is be able to say that they're repealing the sales tax, and what they're going to repeal is the conversation about going to the 2% visible sales tax, but we're going to keep the 1% BPT increase, for the children into school, and the Guam Memorial Hospital that, as you point out in your paperwork here, needs to get their financial priorities in order.
Exactly, and that's the position of the chamber. Is like, hey, listen, let's repeal this first and foremost. Let's get back to the drawing board. There are a lot of questions. I mean, if we are going to take the route of a sales tax eventually, let's put the experts on the table, and let's figure out what's the timeline. 4 years, 5 years. How do we address the tourism issue? I know DFS has a great concern in terms of a sales tax, especially when many of these tourist entities are advertising a duty-free environment.
Right.
So we got to look at all these factors, and it's not going to take a couple of days. It's going to take some time, and then we get back to the drawing board.
Well, what would need to get done, Bobby, at the Department of Revenue and Taxation? I mean, this is not just this is not some new kind of pass-through tax. I mean, it's a whole different class of classification of tax, and they can't process BPTs in real time. What happens when we've got sales taxes coming in real time?
Exactly. Then you also have the issue of manpower. I mean, I understand a couple of weeks ago there was a discussion on 50-some new positions that were open, and I think 5 new collectors or revenue agents were hired. How do we address that problem?
Well, they threw DOA under the bus. They said DOA takes too long to hire.
One of the things I recall mentioning about a year ago, and I think this was in a couple of the positions that we, actually, it was in several of the positions that we submitted, was looking at transferring employees from, non-critical positions at agencies such as, say, GMH, which, depending on which reports you read, has anywhere from 800 to 1,000 plus employees. Instead of putting them out of the unemployment line, let's start looking at taking some non-critical positions and training them while they're on general fund budgets, right? They're budgeted to the general fund. Mm-hmm. Looking at training them and becoming revenue agents internally, just like with any other business operation. If you don't have the funds to go out and hire new people, you take people and you mold them into positions that are critical. And revenue agents at DRT, as well as regulating positions at DPW and public health, are revenue generating positions. So you can take non-critical roles and convert them into revenue generating positions without increasing your cost of doing business or the cost of the government. That's why I was surprised when I heard that they were able to get 50 more employees when you could probably do some transferring here and there.
Yeah. Just you got to be a little bit more clever use with your personnel. It doesn't have to be permanent. They don't have to live there. They don't have to. It's not like they've got to get their name spray painted on a parking spot. We just need to get some bodies in there to help through that process.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think, where to start, because if you open up the paper this morning, the PDN, there was a full page of outstanding tax collect. I believe it was the
full page is 88 pages of 2017 delinquent tax success. But right off the bat, they tell you, look, if you've got a discrepancy in here, you've got to come to us with your justification to resolve the matter. And I remember I was buying a house. and they were going over some of the financials, and they said, yeah, you owe money over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation on your property taxes on the house that I was moving from. And I said, that's impossible because the bank pays that. It's in the mortgage, and the bank will send it to somebody, and somebody will send it to Rev and Tax. And so I couldn't move forward until one of the banks was able to come up with the receipts. And once we showed that, then we were okay. So now I'm wondering, as I look at these, how many of them are folks that are in exactly the same situation. And what's really scary, hold on a second, I'll tell you what's really scary. From page... Wait. This is page... how many pages did I tell you the whole thing was? 88?
88.
All right.
88, yeah.
So from page 29 to page 44, they're all John Does.
Correct. Yeah, I noticed that.
They're all John Does. You got significant numbers. So how are we, as the lady said, we don't actually have their names. We know where the property is. No!
Well,
we know where the property is, but and some of these aren't a lot of these amounts are a little tiny, under $100, a couple of $100 or something like that. But there's there's a couple that are pretty substantial.
Right, yeah, it's going to eventually add up. I mean, why if these are parcels of property that don't have anything, that doesn't have any structure on it, I would probably have DRT walk on over and probably put something on the property and hope somebody calls me the next week and say, hey, listen,
we got there's a matter of a tax bill that we have to settle here, or as the case should be, as it says on the top, we will consider these tax sold.
Here's a good idea. Here's a good idea. Allow those pieces of property to be dumping grounds for abandoned vehicles or trash until such time that the property owner is to call up and say, hey, listen, get these vehicles off my property.
Yeah, and when they do, then we'll say, oh, by the way, we have this tax situation that we need you to take care of. Maybe you missed it. It was a whole big circular in the PDN this morning. Maybe that's what's going to happen. They're anticipating getting a whole lot more money. So I start looking around for big names, Calvos and Paris's and all of that stuff. So I'm gonna continue that process and see who's got some of these big numbers here that need collection. But folks, I'm telling you, if your name is on this, then you're probably going to have a little bit of paper search that you've got to do, and some work over at the Department of Revenue and Taxation to clear your good name.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, just like what you said earlier at the start of this conversation, in reading the PDN and what Catherine had mentioned, is putting the burden on the people's backs because of the government's inability to do certain things. Come October 1st, we're going to start paying a little bit more at the cash register.
Well, you just got to line up, and you got to do your lobbying now, whether it's Chamber of Commerce and anybody. You need to do your lobbying right now, because what's happening is I feel exactly as I said. We're going to go through the drama, the passion of the tax law repeal, only to be, as the taxpayers often are, bamboozled and hoodwinked by the political process, and we're still going to be living with this additional 50% increase in the BPT. I'm sorry, 25% increase in the business privilege tax.
And I think the position has to be very clear. Yes, repeal the sales tax, but at the same token, we got to look at this 5% BPT and be firm and say there are no negotiations on the table. It's you take it back to 4, and let's get back to the drawing board. In the meantime, let's look at a couple of other things here. I recognize and commend the administration for identifying $30+ billion in cuts back in April. That's a great start. Maybe they can chip away another $40 million here and there. And I think the auditor's report is very clear on so many other opportunities in terms of generating new revenue. So
just the savings to the taxpayers on the health insurance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be saying anything. It might come across as a conflict of interest since I work for an insurance company, but there's a start, and I think that's not new. That's a discussion that's been ongoing for years.
Yep.
There's the gaming machines. I think that was another report that came out with the bingo and the gaming taxes. There are things out there that can be done. The question is there an interest to pursue these things before putting it on the backs of the residents of Guam and forcing us to pay more at the cash register?
Bobby, I got to let you. You and I are on the same page as usual. I'm going to let you run. I'll see you. Where's the big fundraisers this weekend? Jimmy, got anything going?
No, not this month. We're going to put a little hold on fundraising.
You got too much money?
No, it's tiring.
Oh, it's tiring. It's true. All right, listen, I got to run. I got to take care of this. It's a big traffic hassle up on. Looks like it's affecting traffic in both directions on Route 8 up in between Route 8, 10, and 16. Southbound traffic is snagged. Looks like we've got an overturned vehicle, and people watching Facebook Live are saying, "Do you have a picture of it?" Yes, of course we have a picture of it. There is a picture of an overturned car on Route 8, again snagging traffic southbound for sure, but right in front of it, because it looks like police are diverting traffic in and through that area. It's also slowing down northbound traffic. So if you can avoid for at least a little bit traveling up and down on Route 8 by this one here, looks like it's just in front of the subway, just as you get to subway by Agbayani. That's where the accident has taken place. That's a tough spot. That's not the first time I've seen an accident through there. So, Bobby, I'll talk to you pretty soon, all right?
Got it.
You have a fantastic day. Joe's been wanting to get on this morning. Hey, Joe, what's up?
So my comment was, I heard in the news you said something about Doris Brooks is claiming that there's a surplus in the budget from 2017, and then other news where they're contesting whether that was true, whether there's a deficit, and the Cabo administration said something about, oh man, when they started out, there's a $300 million deficit they chipped away at, and they keep chipping away at, and like from what the previous administration, which was also Republican. So will either Democrat or Republican actually pay off the was the difference between the deficit and the territorial debt? It's kind of confusing.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, we'll talk about that in the next hour, okay? Because I got it. The news is I know the point that you're trying to get to, and I'll work on that. I got to say good morning to AJ Balahaja, Jimmy Jam Heilner, listening from I don't know, a ranch somewhere in flyover country. Paris Mendiola, Rita Camacho, Hugo, Yoichi Rengel, and Lynn Perez. Hey, Princess Noreen is on with us as well. It's great to see you guys on the Facebook Live. Wish it was in real life. So here's the deal. I got seconds to tell you that we are KUSG. Hagutney, the radio station, is the Point 93.3. I got Fox News Live coming up here in just moments. On the other side of that, Kevin Kerrigan with a big look at what is making the big headlines in the Guam Daily Post. And coming up after that, Blake Watson and I pretend to talk about sports. It's all ahead right here. Don't you move.
Summit on schedule. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Plans moving forward for President Trump to sit down with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. He says it will be much more than a photo op. This afternoon, the president was asked about the letter he received from Kim last month.
A very nice letter. I appreciated it very much. And nothing other than we look forward to seeing you. And we look forward to the summit.
And the president says the North must agree to end its nuclear weapons program. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has met with Kim twice in the past few months.
I can tell you he is very capable of articulating the things that he is prepared to do, present clearly the challenges that we all have to overcome.
But he wouldn't say if he trusts Kim. The president with the comments after meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, where the two also discussed trade.
The United States seeks a bilateral deal with Japan that is based on the principle of fairness and reciprocity.
The president heads to Canada tomorrow for the G7 summit, where he's likely to face tough talk about his latest round of tariffs. A new Fox poll is out with some encouraging news for Democrats. Fox's Gernal Scott has the details live.
Lisa, there is high interest on both sides of the aisle when it comes to the midterm elections. 63% of Republicans are at least very interested. 72% of Democrats say the same. But who do voters think will handle certain issues better? Republicans get higher marks on border security, fighting terrorism, and the economy. More than half of respondents see Democrats doing better on two issues specifically, health care and climate change. Democrats also fare better on trade, gun policy, and immigration, where 7 in 10 people support giving legal status to people brought to the U.S. illegally as children. The Dreamers. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. On Wall Street, the Dow gained 95, the Nasdaq lost 54, the S&P fell a point. Fox News, fair and balanced.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
A California mother and her boyfriend sentenced for torturing and killing the woman's 8-year-old son.
When paramedics found Gabriel at his L.A. County home in 2013, he was unconscious. He had a fractured skull, broken ribs, missing teeth. He'd been burned. Pellets from a BB gun were found near his groin. He'd been forced to sleep in a cupboard with his mouth gagged. Pearl Fernandez was sentenced to life in prison. Her boyfriend, Isara Aguirre, was sentenced to death. The judge, George Lomelli, said he hopes the two are forever haunted.
You want to say that the conduct was animalistic, but that would be wrong, because even animals know how to take care of their young.
Prosecutors said Aguirre hated the 8-year-old because he thought he was gay. Criminal charges were also filed against 4 L.A. County social workers who'd visited the home several times. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Just 3 weeks after the Supreme Court ruling, the New Jersey state legislature giving its final approval to a bill that would legalize sports betting. A close encounter with wildlife lands a California woman in the hospital.
For the second time this year, a visitor to Yellowstone Park has suffered serious injuries from a bison. On Wednesday, 56-year-old Kim Hancock of Santa Rosa, California, was gored by a bull bison in the national park's Lower Geyser Basin. Officials say she was among a group of people who approached within 15 feet of the bison when it became agitated and charged the crowd. She was hospitalized with a hip injury and is expected to recover. Rangers warn visitors to Yellowstone that animals in the park are wild and unpredictable no matter how calm they appear to be. At least 4 people have been injured by wildlife in the park within the last month. Rich Dennison, Fox News.
A one-time contestant on the reality show Top Chef arrested on charges he poisoned a giant maple tree on his Brooklyn neighbor's property. Prosecutors say Adam Harvey is due in court tomorrow. They say he drilled holes into the trunk of the 60-year-old tree and filled them with herbicide. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any 2 toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K, take it easy.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegui of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan, protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
As we journey through 2018, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. It's summer, and KFC has something extra special to spice it up with KFC's new Sriracha Extra Tasty Crispy Chicken. Yup, we kicked up our Pika chicken a notch with Sriracha. Sriracha! It's spicy, tangy, and sweet. You've never had Sriracha like this before, so spice up your summer with KFC's new Sriracha Crispy Chicken. KFC is finger-licking good.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The financial manager of the Department of Administration has acknowledged that the strict letter of the law was not followed in the management of the Chamorro Land Trust Commission special funds. During DOA's budget hearing yesterday, Senator Tom Atta sought an explanation from a financial manager, Kathy Kagagi, for hundreds of thousands of dollars that the senator said was hijacked from the Chamorro Land Trust specialty accounts. The money ended up in the general fund, was used for other purposes, Atta pointing out that those funds were supposed to be used for specific purposes like land surveys and building infrastructure on land trust properties. Kagagi said she knew the funds were supposed to be used for those purposes, but the general fund had a deficit of $105 million at the time, and payroll had to be made, and tax refunds had to be paid. The bottom line, said Kagagi, is which law do you want me to break? Speaker Benjamin Cruz yesterday warning that the planning for the 2019 fiscal year budget threatened by efforts to repeal the sales tax. During a special economic services meeting yesterday, he said there is a push by at least 8 members of the legislature to have a session this month to repeal the sales tax that's supposed to take effect on October 1st. The uncertainty, said the speaker, is completely throwing off all of our preparations for writing a budget. During yesterday's special economic services meeting, the speaker admonished the administration's fiscal team to come prepared to the next SES meeting on June 21st and report on their tax collection efforts. He said, if we don't hear good news from the fiscal strike force about its collection efforts, then there really will be 10, maybe 11, 12, or even 13 votes for repeal of the 2% sales tax. We'll have more news after this.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Guam Economic Development Authority Administrator Jay Rojas warning that repealing the sales tax would give credit rating agencies a reason to keep a negative outlook on GovGuam finances. In a letter to Speaker Benjamin Cruz yesterday, Rojas wrote that a negative outlook from the rating agencies would be detrimental to the island's access to future low-interest financing. The GIDA administrator said the rating agencies are concerned if the legislature does repeal the sales tax, they're likely to keep Guam's current poor credit rating in the negative moving forward. A felon on release was charged in Superior Court yesterday on allegations he burglarized a bar in Upper Tumon, the crime committed back in February. Bar owner telling police he found the door to his business open, bottles of alcohol stolen, money from the pool table slots were missing, a music jukebox, a touchscreen, an electronic jukebox, and about $1,500 from the lounge cash box was also gone. According to court documents, a police detective recognized the suspect who appeared in the surveillance video. He is 39-year-old Robert Isaac Revels. He's been charged with burglary, theft, and theft while on felony release. Revels had been on pretrial release from a February 15th arrest on allegations he stole from a woman's vehicle, and 2 months before that, Revel was arrested previously in connection with 3 burglaries at Tamooning businesses. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray has found the weather.
Should just stick it up here and just never move it. Mostly cloudy through tomorrow, becoming partly cloudy Sunday with isolated showers and thunderstorms. There's winds light and variable, highs around 88 degrees and overnight lows of about 78 degrees. Sunset tonight, 6:46 sunrise tomorrow morning. So you say it should be about 5:54 maybe?
5:54, yeah.
Okay, that's where I'm going to be out there.
Right on.
I'm going to, whatever I'm doing, I'm going to stop.
Make sure your clock is right.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh. I guess.
Yeah.
8:12 is studio time here. Okay, that's close enough for rock and roll. And that's news and weather together here on The Point.
More than 40 local companies have partnered with Take Care to bring you some of the best deals across the island through the Take Care Affinity Rewards program. From Spa Bali, Guam Reef and Gabriel's Restaurant to Tango Theaters, Dolce Frutti, and many more. Take Care members can simply present their membership cards at our partner locations to receive a special offer or discount. For a complete listing of Take Care's affinity partners and deals, visit TakeCareAsia.com or check out our Take Care app for all the latest updates.
Do you know where you can find beef tenactac? I know Mom's house, right? We're going to Mom's. Mom, make me beef tenactac with sigaditas in it, please. And if you can't get around to Mom's place, then swing by King's because that's their big special today. They got a different lunch special every day. And today is beef tenactac, or what I like to call it, my heart attack tenactac. Find that for lunch. And if that's not your thing, and tenactac's not for everybody. Actually, it is, but you might want something different on the menu. Try the pick 2 or pick 3 combos. That'll work for you at lunch at King's.
Are you a veteran or on active duty looking for a home loan and VA eligible? Then Bank Pacific stores are open to you, where we are a VA approved preferred lender. That simply means we can give you faster credit approvals and loan closing. And with today's super low rates, you just can't go wrong. Bank Pacific's My VA Loan, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
Thanks, Phil. Just a note here, traffic still snagged in and out of a scene of an accident on Route 8, about where the subway is, just around that Agbayani area there. And just as it takes that bend, there was a car. Was it overturned? Okay, so we got a vehicle overturned on the scene. Cops were on the scene and snagging traffic northbound and southbound on Route 8. So expect a little bit of time before the cops can unwrangle that situation and get things back to its usual flow. Don't see any other major problems on any of the roadways. You might see a couple of snags getting into and out of the intersection of Route 10 and Route 16. But this quick note, portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. APL is shipping the future.
Chili's Smokehouse menu just got tastier with their new smoked honey chipotle short ribs, marinated and smoked for hours. Try the smoked honey chipotle short ribs and chicken combo, or enjoy the family combo with mouth-watering honey chipotle short ribs, Texas-sized baby back ribs, crispy chicken, and juicy barbecue chicken served with home-style French fries and corn on the cob. It's the Chili's Smokehouse menu, now with smoked honey chipotle short ribs, available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yeah, buddy. All right, so Blake's going, you know what? You've been doing it for so long, and when I hear APL shipping the future, it needs to be followed by future. Sorry about that. It's I don't like to. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I don't like to do commercials the same way twice. If I got a live read in front of me, I don't like to do it the same way twice.
Well, that's the beauty of a live read.
Yeah, I will get bored.
And I don't know about you, but I mean, being in the biz, I'd rather do a live read because I feel like I can hold more weight. I can, with my words, I can use it better.
Definitely sell. Yeah, I can definitely sell on that stuff. So for me, that's the thing that I don't want. I don't want to get bored with it. I want the listener to get bored with it. So that's why I mess around with things. So I've been bragging about this. Forget about. There's no real news happening today. It's like, you know what the big story is? I got my driver's license. I got my new driver's license.
That's new?
Yeah, I just got it because my birthday was May 11th, and I'm lazy, and so I didn't go. And I went yesterday, and there was no line. There were like 2 people there.
Did you go to Gannon Shopping Center?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I'm going. Because I'm like you. I'm up for renewal this year, August.
Okay, so 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you go and you sign up for the 5-year thing. I think it's awesome. So that's cool. What have I got here? Northbound. Somebody's sending me a.
You know, the
what's up on
first
traffic.
fake ID I ever had was an Arizona ID, and it was a real ID. It just wasn't me. It's a guy that kind of looked like me. And I don't know if you know about Arizona. You probably know this, but like I remember I had it in like 2006. And the expiration date on it was like 2036 or something like that.
Wow, 30-year, not bad.
So, I mean, I don't know.
So now the real question is, why did you have a fake ID?
Because I'm a year younger than all my peers. Because my mom insisted that I started. Because in Texas, the cutoff is September 1st. My birthday's August 15th. So I could have been one of the oldest in the class of 2003, you know, or one of the youngest in the class of 2002.
I would have gone for the oldest in class of 2003.
See, I would have too. My mom did not give me when I was 4 years old the option. So
you got beat up a lot.
Yeah, well, you know, not only that, it was like I also missed out on a lot of like when everybody turned 18 in high school, you know, I was still 17. And like when everybody was 21 in college, I was still 20.
Yeah, so parents, that's
why I had it.
That's a real thing, by the way. I want to say Malcolm Gladwell did a book called Outliers where they talk about specifically that is the kids, if you hold them over till they're the oldest in their class or among the older ones in their class, they got a better shot socially, they got a better shot athletically, they got a better shot academically because their brains are a little bit more, you know, advanced. Their bodies are a little bit bigger than everybody else's, and they also have the upside of being able to buy booze for everybody else when you know when they're in their high school years,
or cigarettes or whatever you want.
But so I'm looking at the new license, and I kind of like the deal. It's you know, they've got an interesting design on it. A lot of things happening here. Counterfeit.
It looks old school. I got to say that it looks like a Texas license that they had in like the late '80s, just because the colors.
So they got these little coconut trees that ring around the bottom, but and they took that and inverted them over the top. So on the top border where it says Guam driver's license, I don't know if you can see that. They don't look like coconut trees. They look like marijuana.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's curing, like they're,
dope,
like they're hanging it. Yeah, like they're hanging it.
Yeah, that's
so.
What do you want? Sorry, the other guy. Well, with the license and ID story. Hey, Ken, good morning. Hey, welcome to the Sports Report.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, really. You're talking about ID. I wanted to share with you a story about the difference between American ID checks and Canadian ID checks. I was on a consulting trip to Toronto, and when I came into the country, my passport had expired. Canadian Customs, they pointed out to me that yesterday your passport expired. You really should get that changed as soon as possible. So I went about, did my business. I was in Canada for 5 days. Then when I went back into the United States, they told me that your passport is expired, and so they detained me.
Oh, I've had that happen.
And I pointed out, look, it only expired. It expired just a few days ago. I was on a business trip in Canada. They said, yes, but we need proof on who you are before we will let you back into the country.
Yeah, it's on my old passport. The old passport is my ID.
Sure, look at me. I look the same as I did there. They said, no, we need more conclusive proof, or you're going to have to go back to Canada. So I called up my...
What a threat.
Did you call your mom? Did you call your mom?
My mom was here in Guam, so I had to call my aunt in Iowa because I was born in Davis County, Iowa.
Oh, nice.
So I called my aunt. She went over to the Hall of Records, got a certified copy of my birth certificate, and faxed it to the TSA office there in, where was I? Michigan, I think. Anyway, faxed it to the TSA
at the border
office. And now they let me in on the basis of a faxed document, even though it was certified. It was still faxed. And the only ID it had on it was my footprints.
From when you were a baby.
They accepted a faxed copy of my birth certificate with my footprints over a passport that expired 6 days ago with my actual picture.
Oh, good
And
Lord.
on that basis, they let me back in the country.
I used to work with a guy, and I'm going to say his name, and everybody's going to go, I know him. And I used to work with a guy named Russell, and I won't give his last name. Russell, you remember Russell, right? And so I almost said his last name. So Russell was
the
born.
love muscle?
He.
Was it?
No,
Did
not
he go
that
by
I'm
that?
aware of. No.
You okay in there? Did you spit out some coffee?
Not that I'm aware of. Russell was born in a log cabin.
Oh.
So he didn't have a birth certificate. He carried with him and a note from his mother. And that was, believe it or not, that was sufficient for him to get everything else he needed. He just had a note from his mother because he was born in a cabin out in the woods.
Kind of like
Mommy says.
It's kind of like a medical bracelet, right? But like, oh, hey, I'm diabetic.
So my expired passport story is I was in the States. I was at I want to say it was when my nephew RD was being born, and I was in Washington D.C. and I was there for a trade show, and I was flying back, and I looked at my connections in Los Angeles, and back in the old days we used to call it an illegal connection. There was only less than a half hour between arrival and departure from one flight to the next. So I called Northwest and I said, hey, listen, I need you to book me. This was back in the old days when it was a little bit easier to change flight
and the
arrangements.
pilots could drink.
Yeah, they were the stewardesses up in the front. But while they were still called stewardesses, not flight attendants. So anyway, just pissing everybody off now. So the guy in the line says, okay, we'll send you up from Minneapolis to Tokyo, and then from Tokyo over back home. And I said, oh, that's awesome, great, perfect. And so I get to Tokyo, and there are delays. And so my forward traffic wasn't going anywhere, and I had to stay in Tokyo. Actually, it wasn't Tokyo. It was in Osaka. There were snow delays in Tokyo, so they put me to Osaka. The pilot, when we landed, already had 12 or 13 hours in the chair, so he wasn't going to fly us back to Tokyo that night, which meant that I had to leave the airplane, leave the airport with an expired passport.
Oh, no.
In Japan. And the guy says, why are you traveling to Japan with an expired passport? I said, I wasn't even supposed to be here. I was never supposed to leave the sterile area here, and that's why. And they made me write a letter. They made me write a letter to the immigration authorities in Japan apologizing. Not explaining, apologizing. I'm sorry that I've ruined your day and made you all stay until 10:30 at night. And so
sounds very Japanese.
It was. There was a lot of bowing. I'll tell you what. 8:23 in the morning. Hey, Ken, I'm going to let you go. I'll let you reserve the right to call back if I hit an interesting fiscal note. All right.
All right.
Okay, I'll see you pretty soon. It's 8:23 in the morning, and now it's time for Sports with Blake. And that's all the time we've got for you this morning. It's hope you enjoy.
Have a good weekend. See you on Monday.
Was there baseball last night?
Yeah, there was. 14-0. 14-4. Excuse me. 10-run rule in the 8th. It is called the Expos get that elusive first win. As they were one of three. They were one of 3 unbeaten teams. They beat the Rooks, who are now 1-2. Clark Boswell, the winning pitcher for the Expos. Jared Alerta, 1 for 3. He got a double though on that one. That counts, and it helps. There's a lot more stats because, as you can imagine, it was 14-4.
But it shows you the nature of baseball because you can be doing really poorly, and in that one game you just bust out, and everything falls into place.
But how do you keep that mojo for?
It's really hard because the fact of the matter is there's a lot of baseball that is just pure luck. I mean, the way the balls bounce on the infield, the way the wind's blowing, the everything. What the pitcher had to eat that night.
And you know what's crazy? There's some weirdness in baseball. I think it was 2 seasons ago. The Rangers set some kind of major league record where they had to come behind in I want to say a third of their games. And when they did, they only won by 1.
Yeah.
I think basically from May to July, they were winning. Coming from behind and by 1, just because of the weirdness, like you said, with the mojo working and all that, because you can't really explain it, but yeah. It just happens.
Like some days I have a really great show, and then some days it's just great.
Sometimes the muse just kind of calls in sick.
Yeah,
you leave it at home.
People ask, how'd you feel about the show today? So it was 9.9 on a scale of 10. And, right now it's like a 9.99 on a scale of 10. Not quite perfect, but very, very close. So I know exactly what they mean by the elusive mojo, that elusive zone that you have to find yourself in. Now, is there basketball?
Yeah.
Ted Lewis says, big game tonight for the Golden Knights. All is possible. Who are the Golden Knights?
That's the Vegas hockey team. Basically, I think they were up.
I thought there was one of the gangs from Warriors.
3-1. They were up. It's best of 7 series. The Lord Stanley's Cup playoffs are going on right now, and the Golden Knights over in Vegas they're fighting for their Stanley Cup life because I believe it was 3. Yeah. So this morning, 10 a.m. is Game 4. Washington leads 3-1. The Knights got 1 game, but if Washington wins today, they will be Stanley Cup champions. By the way, that game is on locally on NBC for anybody that wants to watch it. 10 a.m. here on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, NBC.
Cool.
They carry the NHL NBC, so I'm sure if you've been keeping up with it, you know that.
Yeah, but I don't know which Ted Lewis this is and where he is, so I couldn't tell you.
Ted Lewis.
Yeah, is it that one or the other one? I'll click on his profile and find out. Now, there's another profile. Okay, it's Ted Lewis, the one that's in Vegas.
Yeah, I figured it was him because when I watch your comments during sports, he's always the one that says "Go Knights," go Golden Knights. So, but yeah, there you go, Ted. Good luck. Let's stave off the. Let's make it a Game 7 just for funsies, huh?
There's a Boo Ada. Oh, I know this one.
Boo.
Boo. Yeah, we know Boo. Boo is telling me to tell you that in Arizona, you can get driver's licenses that last like 50 years. And licenses expire on the 65th birthday, and until then, drivers only need new photos every dozen years, making Arizona unique in how long a license can last.
I feel like Boo has told me that before, but it may have been in a social setting with some other things going on, and I don't quite remember much of the evening.
But they also have some of the toughest drunk driving laws. So if you get busted even once, they will take that license away from you.
I mean, there's places like Japan where if you're busted for drunk driving, you're in trouble, and so is your passenger.
Wow,
because they shouldn't let you drive. I mean, just like everybody in the car goes to jail.
Everybody's going down.
Now I said that they expire on your 65th birthday. What happens at 65 is then you must renew every 5 years, and every 5 years you get a vision test. So at age 70, you can no longer do your renewals by mail. You've got to go renewals by mail. Well, how do they do that magic? What is that?
I don't know, but we just heard a story about a passport that was renewed by facsimile.
Right. No, I mean, it's approved by facsimile. But
sorcery going on.
I know.
Inmates got to get their licenses renewed, you know?
But how do you do it by mail? I mean, if I got to be there to take a picture, do I just take a picture with my phone and
send it in? Maybe like you do.
Like you
passports.
Do the passports.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm born and raised on Guam. This is wizardry. This is sorcery. You're absolutely right. So fill me in on this. How does it work everywhere else on the planet?
The way that I did my passport here was I took a picture on my own, and then and I had to take it in with my application. Or I guess if I couldn't have taken it in, I could have sent it in, and then they would have sent me my passport. But I had to basically send everything ready to go, so that way they take my picture, take my information, join it together, and then send me back whatever.
Somebody's listening to us in the studio. It's amazing. It's like taking a selfie. I have to see what I look like right now.
Right now.
All right, 8:28 in the morning, and word from Gallo and a couple of other folks online. The north and southbound lanes are clear. You know what the accident? The picture that I have was taken a little bit closer to Agbayani and the subway, so I thought it was there. Actually, this is way back in the line of cars. Apparently, at where this was. It was the near the entrance to Carbolito Elementary School. Was apparently where that crash was located. So that's the deal there, my friends. So,
yeah, that's a bad one, too.
But apparently it's all cleared up
tough
now.
one.
Okay, so any big sports over the weekend?
Yes, I just, because I said I would save it from yesterday to today. University of Guam Tritons finished the GFA Budweiser Premier League with a 13-4 record. They lost to the Bank of Guam.
Because it's Budweiser.
They lost to the Bank of Guam Strikers. Team 1. Shout out to Coach over there. 6-2 was the final there. However, I did say the Jamaican Grill GFA Cup is going to kick off, and it looks like the Tritons are going to open the Jamaican Grill GFA Cup at 6 p.m. June 10th. Against Eurocar FC. However, you don't have to wait that long because GFA Cup has already been going on. It started June 1st, and it looks like this evening, June 8th, we've got Geno's FC taking on IDL, Quality taking on the Bank of Guam Strikers 1, the team I just mentioned, and then looks like Shipyard taking on Hadza and Lots of Art Heat. Or Shipyard Hadza taking on Lots of Art Heat. So all that out at GFA at 1900 hours. And 2,100 hours this evening, right?
Okay. You know how to make the conversion?
It's like you minus something. I don't know. What is that, like 8, 7?
7 and 9.
Yeah, 7 and 9. I didn't even do the conversion. I'm just basing off what time I know GFA usually starts their games.
Nissan's 9th annual flag 7K and 2.5K is coming up. For those of you that are interested in doing a little bit of racing. So 7.5K, incidentally, is not a 5K. It's a little bit longer. It's a little bit. It's 5K and then half until you get back. So what's going to happen is tomorrow morning, starting about 6 o'clock, is in front of Nissan. They'll take a batch of folks, and if it's the same way that they ran it last year, northbound up till you get to about where the GTA office is up in Dedido, and then you flip back down.
On
and,
the other side of the loop.
Yeah,
kinda,
yeah. So there's a little bit of uphill, a little bit against the wind on the way up, but it's a nice, fast downhill on the way back.
What's the road closures for that event? Since they're running northbound Marine Corps Drive.
Yeah, so yes, they're going to usually close off a lane or two.
Okay.
And it's real tricky. So I'm just going to say
that's what I figured, because that's a pretty high trafficked area.
And there's a lot of
anytime.
people. There's a lot of people that get into this race because it's a good time. So Nissan 9th Annual Flag, 7K, 7.5K, 2K, showtime 5, go time at 6. Get there very early because the parking goes very quickly in that region. There's not a whole lot of places to park. I have in the past parked down in Tumon and run up the hill. Yeah. And
I saw a girl. This has got nothing to do with nothing, but you know that hill that you run up there? You know, like the Outback Hill, I guess we'll call it that. There was a girl, and I don't know why she was doing this, but poor girl, she was walking up the hill. It was raining, and she was walking in that little, like, storm drain. Like, not on the grass, not on the sidewalk, but she chose to walk in the storm drain. So it looked like, she from like the knees up.
There's no sidewalk there.
Maybe she has an affinity for angular walking.
Maybe
surfaces.
she looked upset. So I was like, you're walking in like ankle deep water. Maybe get out of that. And,
maybe she had dirty feet.
Maybe.
8:32. And the headlines are next. And I want to make a point. We have a sponsor for the headlines.
Yay!
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. See, we're not completely sold out. And so I'd like to welcome Kathy Style to the broadcast and the 8:30 news sponsor. And in a moment, I'll give you the whole commercial for her, and then we will bring in headlines with Kevin Kerrigan. But first, we got to take this break, and I got to say, Blake, have a great weekend.
You as well. I need a new couch.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway. Make it what you want.
So this is the first actual news sponsor that we've got for the program. And now, it's the headlines. Do we take a break in the middle of the headlines? How do you want me to do this? You want me to do the commercial first and then throw to you? All right, so we'll do the commercial, and then I'll throw to Kevin Kerrigan. Ladies and gentlemen, the 8:30 newscast is brought to you by Furniture Kathy Style. Guam's newest furniture store is now open, offering a fabulous selection of furniture, hot deals every day, like the stylish and comfortable domino reclining sofa. When I got a matching love seat that goes with that too. And now, Kathy, can we do payroll deductions like at the old place? Can we? That was the best. Anyway, so the reclining sofa and the love seat. All right, you ready for this? Both pieces, $999. Style you can afford at Furniture Kathy Style, located in Hagutnya, bringing you the 8:30 news with Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, at the Special Economic Services meeting yesterday, outgoing Public Auditor Doris Brooks said GovGuam is on track to report its first significant surplus in fiscal year 2017. Brooks telling lawmakers and members of the administration's fiscal team that the surplus is the result of aligning expenditures with revenues and not due to bond financing, she said. Brooks credited the good cash management implemented by the Department of Administration and the governor. The fiscal 2017 budget not yet complete, however, and the amount of the surplus still being calculated. Brooks did not give an estimate on how much that surplus would be. However, she also said that there's some bad news. GovGuam still has a cumulative deficit of between 80 and 100 million that's been built up over the years, and that's why GovGuam continues to be strapped for cash, she said. Governor's office issuing a release following Brooks' remarks, pointing out that the deficit was $350 million when the Calvo administration took office back in 2011, and they've continued to chip away at that. No word yet on whether any tax refunds will be paid out today. DOA Director Edward Byrne yesterday saying that receipts this week haven't been as good as they were hoping for. Recently, Revan Tax has been sending out roughly $2 million in tax refunds every week. A total of $44 million in 2017 refunds has been paid out so far this year. $33 million of that paid out in March. The refunds paid out so far have covered error-free returns filed through February 5th. A random shakedown at the Manila prison Wednesday, turning up more contraband that made its way all the way into the prison. Just before 5 Wednesday afternoon, corrections officers searched cells at Post 16. They found an iPod, a cell phone, 2 chargers, and 2 crystal-like stones of suspected methamphetamine, along with a lighter and a straw. DOC Director Tony Lamarena said the items were found inside the cell of inmate David Mendiola, who was then arrested and reconfined. The contraband was turned over to the Guam Police Department's Mandanya Drug Task Force. An earlier shakedown at Post 5 on Wednesday turned up no contraband. Another inspection conducted yesterday at Post 17 also came up empty-handed, said the director. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
8:30 headlines brought to you by Furniture Kathy Style, located at the old place in Agutya. And iConnect time is 8:37. Connect longer for less with incredible push-to-talk and mobile plans.
From September 17 to September 19, 2018, the Archdiocese of Agutya will be conducting settlement conferences with victims of clergy abuse. If you have a claim and want to meaningfully participate in the September settlement conferences, call Hope and Healing Guam at 1-888-649-5288 before August 1st, 2018. All conversations with Hope and Healing Guam are confidential. If you have filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese, you are already included in this settlement process.
Portions of the program also brought to you by Cold Stone Creamery. Looking for something to celebrate? How about this? Father's Day is coming up June the 17th, FYI. As we found out from our intrepid leaders, be prepped for Father's Day. Start today by going to coldstonecakes.com and order your cakes online. The Oreo cookies and cream extreme ice cream cake and the tall, dark, and delicious ice cream cake could be yours for your old man to enjoy. Cold Stone Creamery. That's why they're the ultimate ice cream experience.
So you want to buy a house, but you don't know how much you could borrow. So what do? Well, you come to Bank Pacific and get pre-qualified. Sit down with one of our home loan specialists and let us see how much we can lend you so you know how much you can spend on your new home. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, conditions apply. Come pre-qualify today.
No, really, how do you renew a driver's license by mail? Come on, you live in the States. How do they do that?
I was in Arizona, but I wasn't 65 yet. So I don't know. And in Texas, you got to show up. So
Okay, so it's not just a Guam thing, right?
No,
but there are obviously places where you can line up the technology and make it so that you can renew a driver's license without actually having to go anywhere near the place, right? We'll work on that. 8:30 and 8:39 in the morning, and a last look at traffic. And it looks like everything is cleared on Route 8, and there's nothing worth writing home about. But it does look like I've got a little bit of a slowdown between the intersection where Jollibee's is going to be going up the street towards the intersection to Guam Regional Medical City. That intersection between 1 and 3. Again, northbound traffic looks like it's snagging out. A little bit of a traffic slowdown coming up Santos Hill. That's the one that brings you from the Weston to Marine Corps Drive. Expect some delays going through there. But otherwise, should be smooth sailing everywhere else you intend to go this morning. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Can I just ponder this out loud for a second? You think about the way they do it, and I'm not saying, maybe that's the way we ought to do it, but maybe we ought to at least consider the idea of coming out with, we've already got this graduated driver's license program, right, where the kids have got a thing and they've got 17 courses that they've got to go through and 18 tests, and then they got to show up at the University of Guam on a full moon or something like that to find out if they've passed. There's this whole rigmarole that young people have to go through to get their driver's licenses. And if we're going to make them do that, then, and prove to God and one and all that they know how to handle an automobile.
Yeah, you have to, like, sacrifice a brown tree snake or something.
It's crazy. It's crazy when Mason was going through it. But anyway, so if you've got to go through all of this stuff anyway, and we will then have certified you as capable of driving a car, why not make it so that your driver's license can last you until you are 65 years of age with only occasional renewal, not even renewals, but only occasional opportunities to go in and change the picture on your driver's license, because about every 12 years your face is going to change, right?
Well, it's supposed to.
Not me.
Everybody, mine has.
Everybody tells me I still look like I did in high school.
Well, I was,
put money in there.
I thought I was 30 when I was 15. So
841, and I bought her another $15 drink. So, what was I saying? Is that something that would would that would it make it so that instead of having so many people at the Department of Revenue and Taxation processing new driver's licenses for all these people over all this time, is it possible that that might decrease the number of people required for that, and then they can go and work in other places at the Department of Revenue and Taxation, like collections, FYI? What do you think?
I think it's a good idea.
All right, well, it's worth talking about, and maybe I'll spend some time on that a little bit later on, but I do need to get this lady on the telephone, and I don't know whether to cry or congratulate you on your last day at work, Public Auditor Doris Brooks.
Thank you, Ray. It's with both feelings. Believe me, it's with both feelings.
I don't want to break in. I don't want to break in another public auditor. You and I've been together since I've been doing talk radio.
I know. It's hard for me to believe, and I do want to thank the people of Guam for giving me the honor and the privilege of electing me 5 times. It really had been a roller coaster ride for me, but I think it is time for me to move on.
No, not going to let it happen. I won't sign the papers. You have to stay.
Well, thank you. This is my last day. In fact, I was just meeting with Yuka and Llewellyn, just kind of going over the highlights for the government-wide financial statements. As I mentioned yesterday, we do show a preliminary surplus, but we know that number is going to change. So that's why
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was going to ask you some of that stuff in a second. But so which one is you going to leave in charge, or is it both of them that's going to be in charge until we get another one as a result of the special election?
Yeah, Yuka Hechanova, my deputy, will be in charge until the special election is held.
Did she cry yet?
At the time of the primary election.
Did she cry already this morning?
That was last week.
Oh, for the announcement. Okay.
Yeah.
She's got friends. We'll support her through that through that task.
We do.
Frankly, I think she should run.
Well, I planted that seed, but she didn't want to.
Well, I've got her WhatsApp.
It did not germinate, unfortunately. It did not germinate.
I'll see if I can give that very good suggestion another nudge. She's been with you for a couple of years, and she's enjoyed it, and she knows that. She knows the process, knows how to oversee the audits.
Yuka was my student when I was teaching at UOG, and then she was among the first graduates we hired. There was about 5 UOG graduates that we hired straight out of UOG, and she was one of them.
I wish you very good luck on the campaign as well.
Thank you.
You've got some daunting competition. Mike Nicholas. It's going to be hard to knock that one down. Then Madeline Berdalio with a ton of experience in the job and the incumbent position.
Yes, but I'm just going to face one of them.
There's that to be said. Well, they got the whole campaign in front of us, and how much fun is that going to be? Hey, let's talk just real quick on the surplus. I got a lot of people that were raising their eyebrows at the commentary that you made about the surplus in 2017, and my response was exactly that. She's talking about expenditures and revenues about aligning, but for 2017.
Only. This is how did Gov Guam complete 2017? Okay, Gov Guam completes 2017 with a surplus. How did Gov Guam complete prior years? 2016 also was a surplus, but that was primarily due to the bond refinancing.
Yeah.
So this 2017 is the first, what I call, true surplus without external financing. And how did it come about? You've been hearing the conversation that Senator Ada has been having, with the money that was diverted from the CLTC. A lot of that came from what we call permanent transfers. And then also part of it, this includes DOE, and that's the number that is still not yet finalized. DOE might be coming out with a surplus, but it has not yet been finalized. So
the Department of Education, that's a headline for 2017. The Department of Education might be coming out with a surplus?
Yes, but the numbers are still kind of tentative right now. That's why I said, we can't say for certain. And that's why I'm not giving any numbers.
I've been somebody chided you about that in a comment to me and said that there needs to be more specifics. How large exactly was that surplus? And frankly, it being a political season also suggested that maybe you were just trying to curry favor with Calvo Tenorio voters.
No, that is exactly what happened. Okay, the governor already said there was a surplus several months ago, and when I first saw the draft and I saw that there was a surplus, I said my mouth dropped, my jaw dropped rather. I said, I don't believe it. I had to call, I had to call the auditors. Are you sure? I don't believe it.
I got you.
But it's maintained. Each revision we've seen, it has maintained, but it's still not finalized.
It's going to be interesting to see how we were able to get away with that with the Department of Education. You think about where the majority of the spend is, and I can't. I mean, you and I remember the job long enough to remember when they were unauditable. Now, not only do they come through with clean audits, you're telling me that the preliminary numbers may indicate an actual surplus for them from 2017. That's nothing short of miraculous.
Correct. Yes, and that's why cumulatively between DOE, the permanent transfers from funds like CLTC, like the recycling fund, and others like that, contributed to this surplus. Unlike past surpluses, which were primarily attributed to bond refinancing.
You would, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it. There was the last audit that I think has your name on it is the health insurance audit, right?
Yes.
And that was, I've been clamoring since I've been in front of a talk radio microphone to make sure that there was somebody in there that would represent the needs and the attentions, not just of the government of Guam employees and the retirees, but the taxpayers. And so far, I think the only one that was in there that was doing that job was the chairman, Dennis Rodriguez, over the last couple of years. And we need somebody that's a little bit more of a stronger ombudsman, because now we find that this last round of the health insurance has actually cost the taxpayers more. They're taking bigger bites out of the taxpayers in order to support less bites from the employees.
Health insurance costs have actually escalated. We're paying something in excess now of over almost $80 million, when a few years ago it was a little over $50 million. So health insurance costs has escalated, and that's one of what I call the hidden drivers of cost escalation. Because that when you have payroll, that number is factored into it, and it's a driver. Together with another number of what we are paying to relieve the unfunded liability of the pension fund. We're on average paying about 28%. So for every dollar of payroll, we add another 27 to 28 cents to pay for the unfunded liability, and then we add another couple of cents more to pay for health insurance. And so the cost of a government employee is in excess of 30 cents on the dollar for every dollar of payroll. And so that's a significant cost. But there's one number, but the good news about the pension is the unfunded pension liability. It is being amortized, and by 2031, originally it would have been paid off. And that's less than 14 years away. We've extended it now to 2033 because with the opening of the 1.75. And we still don't quite know what all those numbers are going to be, how much it's going to increase the unfunded liability, because that's something on the actuarial report that will be done next year, because it was just in January that everybody migrated. But the other news is surprisingly, less than 40% migrated over, so the unfunded liability is probably going to be less than anticipated.
Right. But
Ray, if I could, I would like to go back and clarify on the surplus versus the deficit.
Sure.
The surplus is a one-year transaction, and that's the good news. In other words, we didn't dig the hole deeper, but we are still in the hole to the tune of anywhere from $80 to $100 million. That's why we continue to rob or permanent transfer all these special revenue funds. And as Kathy Kakigi said, which law do you want me to break? Do you want me not to pay payroll? Do you want me not to pay bonds? Or do you want me to let those monies go to the special revenue funds? This is kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation that DOA continues to struggle. We are robbing Peter to pay Paul.
So at some point we've got to say that if those monies that are in special funds, 9/11 funds, CLTC funds, whatever the other bouquet of lockbox funds there are, as far as the Department of Administration is concerned, those dollars shouldn't even exist. They should just forget that they're there. They are numbers in a balance book somewhere else, and they're not to be attached. That law, in my opinion, should be sacrosanct. They shouldn't have gone anywhere near any of those monies. And all of these loopholes and workarounds, well, it wasn't really in those funds yet. They're still in the general fund, and they had not been deposited yet. The law is very clear on whether those monies could be commingled with the general fund. And so just from in my mind they'd already broken the law.
But cash trumps everything else.
Well, they can't spend if they can't afford the employees, then don't hire the employees. I understand the mandates and everything, but if we don't have the money, if we don't have the cash to pay these employees, they can't come to work this week.
And again, that's the budgetary process. That's and let me just say, part of the challenge that we continue to have also is that our revenue numbers, our estimated revenue numbers are imprecise. Now, on an overall basis, we're looking at less than a 10% differential between actual versus budgeted. But the bottom line is we continue to overspend, and that I've said for the last 20-odd years, GovGuam has continued to overspend. Why we don't see these deficits is because we've permanently financed them through the various bonds.
That's right.
Through the BPD bond that wiped out that deficit of $300 million. The deficit didn't go away. It's just changed its nature from a short-term obligation to a long-term obligation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
And who gets the money on that? The shareholders, the bondholders are going to get that, and they've got clear title to our dough for. What's the number going to be next year? What's our original sin obligation going to be with the expenditures? It's $200 million going forward next year for bond payments globally in the government.
Not quite that high. It's somewhere in the $80 million arena, somewhere in that area.
Oh no, I'm going to check. The last time I looked at the abstract, and maybe you're thinking of just regular government of Guam debt. I'm including everything: utilities, utility debt, port debt, etc. I think that's almost $200 million.
I don't include the utility bond debts because they are self-sustaining. They're able to meet their obligations. I'm just talking general fund debt, and right now it's around 80 plus million or thereabouts.
Right. So I always look at the global number because it's still the government of Guam utility, a government of Guam port, a government of Guam water company, and as we have found out, the ratings agencies will look at difficulties in the regular government of Guam and then put credit watch even on bonds and obligations that have been taken out by the utilities and ports.
Well, one obligation that everyone wants to have done, and how are we going to pay it, is Simon Sanchez. We're looking around upwards of $100 million altogether. So and that was one of the questions that was posed during the procurement hearing: is what is the approximate debt service payment? And they had not yet come to that number.
You know what's scary, because you and I were together when we were doing this dance for John F. Kennedy High School. You remember what the original figures were going to be, and we thought we'd be able to do that on cash flow, for heaven's sakes, and then And then we rebuilt a school that is probably the most expensive government expenditure in the history of the island.
Tejan High School, Okudu expansion, Okudu, JFK, and now, hopefully, once we get the appeal resolved, we're looking at another $100 million in debt obligation on our books.
If it comes out to 100,
the annual debt service of that's going to be, and we're going to add that, but we're not going to add any new revenues to pay for it.
If it gets anywhere near, if it gets within $5 million of $100 million, I'll eat a bug. Just remember that, because it's going to be over. Yeah, $105 million. If it gets anything lower than that, I'll eat a bug.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's I know how things work around here.
With the way construction is right now, in the private sector with the H-2B crisis, we're only seeing construction behind the fence as opposed in front of the fence. Yeah.
Well, you better fix that when you're the congresswoman. You have to fix that.
I plan to. That's one of my issues.
All right, everybody's going to give me a hard time if I don't bring up the corrections that you have made over at the Election Commission on your campaign finance reports.
All in due time. All in due time.
Oh, so don't ask now? But you already did it.
I did. It was like a gun to my head.
All right, so can I ask you that when you were candidate Doris Brooks instead of last day on the job OPA? Correct. All right, I'll do that. But again, on behalf of the people, many of whom were very, very excited to see you get the job to begin with, and watch with a great deal of excitement the work that you have done in that place and the mandates that have come along with it, because people trust you and they trust your opinion and they trust your staff. I'd like to say thanks very much, and I personally appreciate you providing me all of the access to the OPA to yourself all of these years.
Well, my parting words to my staff was, a captain is only as good as her crew, and I've had a fantastic crew all these years. I call, especially when my management team, my diamonds in the rough, and they have shone and sparkled, and they're the ones who made me look good because they're the ones working in the trenches. And we were just sitting, before I came on the radio, we were just sitting down together with Yuka Llewellyn and Evelyn, just talking about the highlights, how we want to present it, and so on. So a captain is only as good as her crew, and the next public auditor is going to have a fantastic crew. Well, so thank you again, and thank you to the people of Guam for the honor and privilege you've given me these last 18 years. Undankla Sajus Maasi.
Well, we offer you congratulations on a job well done, and as far as your crew is concerned, if they're really good for you now, I'm sure there are some trenches in Washington, D.C. that they might enjoy trudging through. Just a hint. Just,
Okay, well, I hadn't thought about that, but thank you.
Something to keep in mind. I'll see you pretty soon.
Take care, Ray.
Doris Brooks, and her last day on the job as the public auditor of the territory of Guam after this, it'll go into some very capable hands, people that I know personally and I know that have done the work with her since they have joined the public auditor's office. So I don't know that there's too much to worry about there. As much as there is for people now in the political ranks that are going to have to face off against her in the upcoming public auditor election. And it opens up another hole for another election. And I've got my fingers crossed. We'll know a little bit more after the Guam Election Commission meets on this about how they're going to fold in the special election for a public auditor in the upcoming primary. The radio station you're listening to is KUSG Hagutnya. And coming up next, I've got Fox News Live. Another hour of the program, 888-8255. And a little bit more, and I want to say we'll meander into the realm of small talk, even though in this case it's not small talk. The question that I have here is, where are all the trash cans? Where have all the trash cans gone? I'll explain why that thought's in my head on the other side of the Fox News. That's ahead right here on The Point.
It's still a go. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. With just under a week into the planned summit between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, the president saying plans are on schedule.
In the Rose Garden with Japan's Prime Minister today, President Trump was optimistic but realistic about the chances of success at next week's summit with Kim Jong-un.
We have the potential to do something incredible for the world. I am totally prepared to walk. It could happen Maybe it won't be necessary. I hope it won't be necessary to welcome.
President Trump also revealed that if the summit goes well, Kim could be headed to Washington.
And I think it would be well received. I think he would look at it very favorably, so I think that could happen.
Would it be here at the White House or at Mar-a-Lago?
Maybe we'll start with the White House. What do you think?
But there is a long way to go to get there.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. The president saying next week's meeting is just the beginning. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo echoing the president.
The United States and North Korea have been holding direct talks in preparation for a summit, and North Korea has confirmed to us its willingness to denuclearize. A comprehensive whole-of-government effort in support of President Trump's upcoming summit is underway.
Pompeo has met with Kim Jong-un face-to-face twice in the past few months. The House is split on how to deal with immigration.
House Speaker Paul Ryan is trying to convince Republican colleagues against a discharge petition, a legislative workaround that would force votes on competing DACA and border enforcement measures.
It's better to have a process that has a chance of going into law than not.
The discharge petition is just a few signatures shy of what it needs. Ryan says the better option is compromised legislation.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. Ryan points to President Trump's so-called four-pillar plan that includes a DACA fix, provides a route to citizenship, border wall funding, and legal immigration changes. Fox News, fair and balanced.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon. Work.
The head of Yellowstone National Park claims the Trump administration is forcing him out. Fox's Steve Rappaport has more live.
Lisa, Dan Wenck announced last week he would step down as Yellowstone superintendent next March after turning down an offer for a transfer that he didn't want. But the White House has a shorter time frame in mind. Wenck saying the National Park Service told him a new superintendent will take over in August. Wenck didn't get a reason for the early exit, but he thinks it's punishment for disagreements with Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke over how many bison Yellowstone can handle. Zinke's office would not comment directly on Wenck's assertion, but the secretary believes the current bison population in the park of more than 4,000 is too high. Lisa?
Steve, scientists say lava from Mount Kilauea that poured into low-lying coastal Hawaii neighborhoods spread across the area in just 2 days. The lava's destroyed hundreds of homes, changed the landscape, and formed a new shoreline on Big Island. The U.S. Geological Survey says the lava feeding that flow is still active, and there's no way to know when the eruption will end. The president and vice president could be required to speak as part of Colin Kaepernick's collusion case against the NFL.
According to reports Thursday, lawyers for Colin Kaepernick in his collusion case against the NFL could seek to subpoena President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence over their vocal criticism of players who kneel in protest during the national anthem. The goal, according to Yahoo Sports, is to find out what the president, vice president, or any other administration officials said in direct discussions with NFL owners regarding Kaepernick's free agency and player protests during the Star-Spangled Banner. Several league owners said in testimony as part of this collusion case that the president did factor into conversations as to how to handle protests going forward. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Warner Brothers set to release a new Prince album in September on what would have been his 60th birthday. The company saying Piano and Microphone 1983 features Prince working through 9 tracks in a private recording studio. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning. morning on a Friday, and it's time to start thinking about lunch. I know I just got to the office. You get to lunch? Yes. Because I don't want you to waste any time. I want you to be able to go, you know what, just with a purpose. You know how like guys go shopping at Home Depot? We just open the doors, walk in, go exact to the exact spot in the store, get what we need, and then go pay, and we're done, right? So you need to do the same thing, because save your time, and then you've got all that additional time to invest in your weekend.
Exactly.
So you go to King's and you say, the guy on the radio said it's beef tenactac today. Bring me that. And then they will. And you're done.
Nice.
And then you can go.
Nice.
Okay. Now, if you're one of the people that likes to do a little bit more shopping around, pick 2 or pick 3 combo. That'll work for you. But beef tenactac, that's a special today for lunch at King's.
I'm a working mom and could really use more hours in my day. Thankfully, my non-electric Connecticut water treatment system has simplified my life. It's easier to clean my home with Connecticut conditioned water. No more scrubbing tubs or wiping water spots. Cleaners work better and last longer. And all the Connecticut drinking water we want is right here. No more lugging home bottled water. All this, and I'm saving money too, thanks to Connecticut.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com. I'm still trying to figure out why. I can see exactly what Mike sees on his computers over there. And right now it's supposed to do a commercial for a thing for American President lines. But when I look at it, I see the American, and then it's PRE. And in my mind, it's not PRE, it's PIE something. And I need to do a plug for American Pie the movie. One time at band camp, it was American President lines, shipping the future.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. On demand at thepoint.gu.
So a bunch of stuff that goes through my WhatsApp here this morning, and we all got those WhatsApp chats, right? You know, the ones that you just go, man, I wish I could use half of this stuff on the radio. Mm-hmm. And so the stuff that I can use. Here's we were talking earlier today, Kevin and I, about the Department of Administration get-together over at the little battle that they had with the legislature. When you want to talk about taking some hard knocks, why are you taking money out of the CLTC? Because we needed it to make payroll. That's why, even though the law is very clear on what you can and can't do with lockbox money, right? You gotta grab that dough. Well, can you pay it back? No. And then the answer was, well, it's not like they're using it. It's not like CLT was actually using it for the purposes that the money was there for. And that's that was what? What do you mean? It's not like they weren't using it. What do you do? They just leave it there. It's not supposed to exist for you. All right. But that one there just kind of made me crazy when I heard that. And then I get this another note from a friend of mine. And I won't say, happens to be running for governor.
Oh, okay.
And, I was asking, what's his name, Bobby Shringi earlier about any fundraisers that he's going to. Mm-hmm. And he says they're kind of holding off on fundraisers, him and Jimmy, because it's tiring. I mean, it's Friday night here and Wednesday night there, and you got to get the fundraising, you got to get the food, and then you got to get the things that you're giving away all night. He says, we're going to hold off on that. So I got an invitation to a fundraising, and normally the way it works is you go to a bar, right, a venue or a, what's the name of it, Las Vegas or Franny's, and $10 to get in, and there's food and drink, and just have a good time and then a split, right?
Nice, yeah.
Okay, so this one here, it's an invitation for a bar-hopping block party.
And it's a fundraiser?
It's going to be at Harana Lounge, Beer Time. Wait, there's more. V Keys, My G, Underpass, not Underpants. Sorry, it's small. The writing in the WhatsApp is small. Underpass Leah Rose and Good Times. It'll be on the 15th from 6 until 10, and the donation for all of that is $10. But it's not like you get a free drink every bar you go into. I think it's $10. You got to figure out which one you're going to go to, and that's just one.
Oh, wow. That would be hard for me because I'm new here.
Yeah, I don't know
where
which,
the best drinks are.
which one is the one where I should bring my gun. Because I think I know the area, and somebody in these places somebody should be armed. I'm just saying. I love the idea, and I chimed back in. I said, "Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. I might go with you on it, but A, I'm not driving, and B, I'm sleeping at your house."
There you go.
So you put the futon out for Ray, and I guess there won't be any running on the morning of the 16th, 9/11 in the morning, and other items on a personal table of content. Oh, before I get to that, here's some more shiny. Good morning to Red Turbio. Awesome to see you. There's one of the best marketing brains on Guam, right there. And awesome creative, and he's got a creative staff. That's the genius behind the Talk is Cheap campaign that we used to relaunch the show. Minatkin Taiminglu is there. Jeff Pleadwell, the actual pirate from Pirates Cove. I see Vic Gaza, Dave Duenas, Brenda St. Nicholas. And, you know, I didn't know if he was serious when he chimed in. Les Paul Gibson, no relation, says, ask Troy Torres, Ray. Unlike Doris, Troy will tell you where the money is. How much money are we talking about? And it's kind of the big question here is you came out with a blanket statement yesterday that said there was a surplus for the government of Guam in 2017. And everybody said, bull. But she said she looked at the numbers. The governor said that there was a surplus in 2017, and she was able to verify that. And it is possible, miracle on miracles, that it comes from reduced spend in the Department of Education.
I have a bull bed, by the way.
Oh! For when our BS detectors go off?
Absolutely, yes. When the BS sounders fire off.
Oh, that should be on a loop then sometimes. You know, some of the people we talk to, it just starts to get... No, because you know the feeling when it starts to get spinny, when there's like spinning going on. Okay, so what? James Martinez, Brother James is there. I see, like I said, Ted Lewis is back in, and Frankie Gutierrez, is going to be is listening as well. 888-8255 if you want to go from listening to participating. It's always welcome to have you and your comments and your ideas here. Otherwise, it's just going to be me, and there's some significant venting that I need to do right now. And okay, so people that know me. Know that I am not a tree hugger. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of the, you know, I've gone to bat for the environment in places where I believe it makes a difference. When they were trying to put the outfall from all of the rainwater directly into Tumon Bay, it didn't take a rocket scientist to know that that was a stupid idea. Yeah. And so I railed against that, and the people over at GITA, et cetera, had to find another plan, which is why they're doing some of the construction work that they are doing now to try to do a better job of catching all of that rainwater, letting it drain to someplace that's not Tumon Bay, which is responsible for billions and billions of dollars worth of income for the entire island. So I will back up the environment every chance I get. I'm just not one of those tree hugger guys. It's just not my way. But I'm running yesterday because I was running. It's my thing, right? And
no dogs this time.
No dogs this time. Good. But I got to the Paseo, and normally I turn at the little diorama that Ray Tenorio put together. It looks like Guam, the real Guam seal, right? So that's usually my turnaround, but I thought, you know what, I need to get a little bit of extra here today because I'm probably not going to do a lot of running this weekend. So I went further up to the point of Paseo. Okay. Over by the Statue
of Liberty.
Yeah, with the Statue of Liberty. That, and by the way, that's the original. The copy is in New York.
I see.
But that's the original of the Statue of Liberty. Little known fact. But anyway, so I went up there, and there were a case. Somebody had gone there with a 12-pack of Bud Ice in cans and left it there. Eesh. So fortunately, they left it there with the bag. So I took the cans and I stuck them in the box and put them in the bag. And then I'm walking around a little bit more looking for the trash can. And there's some more cans, you know, Asahi Blue. Which is odd because I thought that was supposed to be an alcohol-free zone, parts of there.
Well, yeah.
And so I picked up those cans and I'm looking around. Where is the trash can? And so, you know, there's a part of me, and I want to kick somebody's butt for being litter bugs up there, but it's not like there's any place for them. I could not I could not find anywhere on that point of the Paseo, I could not find a trash can.
That makes no sense at all. I mean, it's crazy.
So, how are we supposed, people that want to keep the place clean, how are they supposed to do that?
Yeah, I think what they're expecting them to do is take out what they bring in, which is not an unreasonable request, but put a sign up or something.
Well, put trash cans out. I mean,
nice.
and so it's going to get trashed if you don't, and nobody goes by there and cleans the place up. And here's what we got, ladies and gentlemen. We have thousands and thousands of FIT, frequent independent travelers, that get in their rent-a-cars and they go up there and they go up to Paseo and they want to see the Statue of Liberty. They want to watch the ocean spray. They want to take a whiff of the treatment plant that we've got out there, and so for whatever reason, and there's the place that gets trashed. It's absolutely trashed. So I'm doing my part, right? I'm being the good guy. I'm walking around with a bag of trash, and I have no idea where to put it because I don't have pockets in my running shorts.
Well, not pockets that big.
So I did the best I could. I found a place that looked like it was a staging area for trash, and hopefully somebody will be able to go in there and pick it up. And then I'm running back. And this one here, I know for sure, is an alcohol-free zone. It's the little houses they have, the little gumas that they have over by the statue for mothers and the Lupang Beach Cove, or the building,
okay,
the Lupang Tower. And there were people that had eaten some Wendy's, and there was another set of people that were just sitting around drinking beer, and they left their crap behind.
But they have trash cans there, yeah?
No, they didn't.
Wow.
There's no trash cans. Okay. So this is the thing, guys. I mean, we really got to step up our game. Here's the guys in the SES yesterday were talking about increasing the hotel occupancy tax to 15%.
Right.
And they're talking about a departure facility surcharge for car rentals. BJ is talking about increasing the landing fees. So pretty soon, Guam is going to become a more expensive destination for tourists, and they're going to go, why am I going to pay all this money? The place has got trash all over it. Why am I going to spend all of this money and go surround myself with empty beer cans and empty fast food bags and all this crap that people leave behind?
Well, don't forget they can come here and get robbed and stuff.
We can come here and get robbed because we need more cops on the scene. So I'm saying, guys, we got to step up our game, and I don't know who's responsible for whether it's DPW or EPA or Parks and Rec, but find the trash cans and get them back out there. So now we've all survived that rant. Let me move on to the next thing, which is, man, look at traffic. Traffic's starting to get ugly. Dededo Sports Complex, and this is from Route 16 towards that Dededo Sports Complex. Looks like we've got a little bit of a traffic slowdown in that area, and there is also another one leading up to Route 10. I'm sorry, up to the intersection of 810. Is that right? No, backwards. From Route 10, the intersection of 810 and 16 towards... looks like it's just after Perez Loop, just before you get to Henry Pareda Street. So be careful out there. If there's accidents, let me know about it. 888-8255, 888-8255. If you're not calling in for that, let me give you another excuse to call. Because we are going to be doing a significant giveaway of a water purification system from American Water Tech. And it's one of their more expensive ones. I don't have the number on it yet, and I'll get that and tell you all about it. But we are going to be giving away this water purification system, dispenser system from American Water Tech. And how do you win it? Well, you got to win one of our daily contests. That's the first thing that you've got to do. So here is the daily contest, 888-8255. And all I want you to do is answer this question based on the news. Are you ready? Here's the question based on the news. As I was saying, they are talking about increasing the hotel occupancy tax to 15%. The question is, what is it now? What is the hotel occupancy tax now? They want the destination to be 15%. Where is it at this time? If you know or you think you know, 888-8255. If you're wrong, I'll let you know whether that number is too high or too low, because I'm like that. But exercise your ability to call the radio station. You can Google this if you want to. You know, I'm not anti-Google. I'll just grab it. Yo, line one.
Hi, it's 11% for hotels and 4% for bed and breakfast.
I was only asking about the hotels, but congratulations. You got it right, 11% where it is now, and they're talking about taking it to 15%, which is going to make things a little bit more expensive for our more thrifty travelers that we're getting to Guam these days. I don't think it's a good idea. I think we need to spend a little bit more time talking about collection of existing taxes where they are, as well as the conversation about we collect. We want to collect more. Oh, and save more money. That's my thing. My name is Ray. What's yours?
John.
John, what are you doing this weekend?
Birthday celebration.
It's not my birthday. Whose is it?
Mine.
No way. Happy birthday. Now, how old are you going to be this birthday?
It's classified, man.
Is it new driver's license birthday?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, no. Go to Agana. Go to the Agana branch. I did it yesterday, and 20 minutes, they're tzaddik there. It's good.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, so you go see them, bring the old one, update the information on the card, and you're going to be gold on the way out. Like I said, it less than 20 minutes for me to get mine. I think the longest time was for the guy to actually print it out, and that was, I think, the longest part of the transaction. So give that a shot. Also, go for a 5-year driver's license.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it costs extra, but you're going to enjoy. Tell you, I'm going to put you on hold here, and then my friend Michael Knight is going to get some information from you that only winners get to give up here at the radio station. We'll explain what you need to do in order to line yourself up now for the grand prize drawing that we're going to do on the 21st of June. That's my plan, the 21st of June, and then we're going to be giving away that big prize from American Water Tech. We've also working on extorting some other prizes from other clients, so we'll see what happens. 9:22. And my buddy Mark is going, wait a second. What is a 5-year license? It's 2018. And my expiration is 2024. He says, equals 6. I don't know. I'm not going to complain. But that's what it says. Issues on the 7th of June, 2018. And it expires on my birthday in 2024. And that's all there is to that, and that's all I'm going to say. It's not like I knew anybody there. It's not like I was calling in any significant favors. It was just I said 5 years, and that's what they gave me. So if it's 5 years or 5 years and 11 months between now and the next time I got to go to the Department of Revenue, fine with me. I'm okay. The only other thing that I is just worried that I might not live that long, Crazy like that. 888-8255. We forgot to do the contest yesterday, so between now and 10 o'clock this morning, there's a very strong likelihood that there will be another version of this contest. So stay close to the radio, stay close to the phone, because you'll need both of them in order to make yourself a winner here in the contest. So where have we been this morning? Where do we get to go? A little bit of the conversation with the guys about what law do you want me to break? That's the headline in today's Guam Daily Post. And Kathy Kakigi was saying, we would have rather not touched the money at the CLTC. We would have rather left that alone so that they can use it for whatever it is, a surveying of the properties. I hate it when that happens. When I got thirsty, the surveying of the properties, and then the coffee splashed back in my face, and all of the things that they need to do at the CLTC. But frankly, they're not very good with money over at the CLTC, anyways. It turns out because it looks like CLTC is paying the majority of the bill for rent over at the Department of Land Management. So it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of fiscal discipline going on with any of the dough over at that place. But monies from those funds went out to cover other expenses, and the government of Guam should not have commingled, but it did. And her answer was, well, it's either that or we're short on payroll. What do you want me to do? You want me to put out checks that are going to bounce? And the answer is, well, if something has got to give, you can't take it out of the lockbox funds, can you? Should you? I don't think you can. And last hour, spent some time with Doris talking about the surplus in the government of Guam for 2017, for FY 2017. And I'm sure that we're not going to get anywhere near that for 2018. I couldn't tell you what all of the numbers are going to be between here and the end of this quarter. I do know that there are some additional funds as a result of the increase in the business privilege tax by 25%, and I think the number is going to be up around $6 million, and which leads me to try to answer the question that I've gotten a couple of times on my WhatsApp this morning is, hey, Ray, when are the tax refunds? There's more tax refunds coming out. We spoke with Oyal from the governor's office yesterday, and Oyal indicated that there was the possibility that we might be able to see something happening in today. But as of 9:25, it doesn't look like that, unfortunately. As of 9:25, the last word that we got, Kevin Kerrigan spoke to Mr. Byrne, the new guy over at the Department of Administration, and he says collections haven't been great. Not great. So, Oyal didn't promise, right, that there was going to be $2 million worth of checks going out. And Kevin said no. Wasn't a promise. We kind of hedged it. Said we like it. Don't hold your breath. So it would surprise me. I mean, there's always the possibility that it might happen a little bit later on today, that we'll get a note from the governor's office saying that we've got tax refunds going out. But as of 9:26 this morning, it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. So I'm, as we say, don't hold your breath. Don't spend the money yet because it has not yet been put in cash form. Also spoke with Tony Lamarena from the Department of Corrections over there about the lingering problem that they've got with contraband finding its way into the prisons. And I don't know who is in charge of that project. They put cameras up there. And I asked him, I said, do you have cameras? Oh, he said, yeah, we're putting cameras over there and over there and over there. And I said, why don't you put cameras on the road where people are throwing their contraband apparently over the fence? And he said, yeah, maybe we'll talk to the vendors about that and see if we can get some. Why didn't you start there? It seems to me would have been the question. Why did not you start at that place? Because that's where people have got the closest egress access to the buildings.
I'm still of the mind that there's somebody on the inside letting that stuff in. I'm sorry. It just
no. It's happened. I mean, there are multiple cases of people in uniform that have either looked the other way or, in fact, have facilitated it because there's money at stake.
I think to smuggle something in as big as a cell phone, yeah, that somebody's got to be helping out. Yeah, anybody can be walking by the yard and pick up a little packet of crack or whatever because it's small. A cell phone? No.
Yeah. iPad or iPod, something like that. Yeah. That would make for a very uncomfortable walk into the prison. I'm trying not to imagine that at all. So there we go. And there's other things that were in the table of contents this morning. Gita has sent a note to the Speaker of the Legislature, and it's one of those cautionary notes. Says, we bond credit rating action for the government of Guam, bond obligations, and our guys have looked at it, and we've talked to the ratings agencies, Standard & Poor's and Moody's, and we got to be careful. He says, needless to say, they are concerned that the legislature is considering a repeal of the general sales tax and express caution that this would more than likely continue to keep the current Guam credits in a negative situation going forward. This negative action or outlook taken by the ratings agencies will be detrimental to the island's access to future low-interest financing. And to which my response is, well, I guess we shouldn't try to borrow anything right now until we right the ship, as it were. So if we can't get a loan at the rates that we're looking for, well, then I guess we can't get a loan with the deal. Thanks, Ted. I appreciate your comment there. Yeah, that's the same story, Lemarena. He does not have a clue of the correctional business. Hey, I'm only reading something that's in the public record. Somebody said I should do a disclaimer on the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the opinions expressed within do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Ray Gibson or Choice Broadcasting or any of their advertisers.
Okay, so
there's your disclaimer.
They do reflect mine, and I'm the managing partner of Choice Broadcasting. So
for the purpose of the show, we can't really say that.
So I gotta figure out how. I need to find another lawyer.
So you're Mini Ray here.
Right?
You're Major Ray out there. You're Mini Ray here.
So I'm just an employee
That's
here,
it,
right?
Yeah, when you step through that door, you're just another dude.
That's funny. All right. So there's that bond credit rating for the government of Guam. Yada yada yada. Just don't borrow anything then. But we need to do something for Simon Sanchez. Do it on cash flow. Work on getting really, really good deals to get that work done. Because here's what. Do you remember what happened with John F. Kennedy High School back in the day? Do you remember what? No, because you weren't here.
I wasn't. No.
John F. Kennedy High School was in a disastrous shape. And was it JFK that the public health shut down? one of the schools, actually, Mark will remember. Mark will remind me. Who was it that was it? Stay with me now. Alicia Lintiaco, I want to say, actually shut down one of the schools. I want to say it was JFK. I might be wrong, but at any rate, we got to a point where we couldn't do school we couldn't do school at John F. Kennedy, right? Wow. And then. So they said, okay, we'll rebuild John F. Kennedy. And there was a group that came out and said, we can do this. A construction company said, we can do this for $25 million.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's what we all said. We said, okay,
yeah.
Wonderful idea. Oh, this is grand. And by the time it was all done, I want to say that it was over $200 million, maybe $250 million for John F. Kennedy High School for them to be all done with. And it's a great facility, don't get me wrong. I mean, they went in and did everything.
Oh, yeah, when you drive by there, I came to visit a couple of years ago, and they said, wow, look at that school.
Right.
I was staying,
you can tell it was a school?
Yeah, I was staying right next to it.
Because it's got that chain link fence. It always looks like a prison to me.
Clearly, well, yeah.
It's just like a very pretty prison up on the hilltop.
Where I did, they're about the same, so.
But anyways, so when they start talking about $100,000 or $100 million to do something for Simon Sanchez, like I told the public auditor, I'll eat a bug if it comes anywhere near $100 million, $105 million, $95 million, anywhere in that range, I'll eat a bug because I know the kind of work that needs to get to be done there. We know what we've got in terms of access to manpower and materials that are going to be costing more because we have to buy in competition now. With the military as they go through their buildup. So this is going to be very, very interesting there. Ismail says, get FEMA money to assist with Simon Sanchez. Designated a natural disaster fortified structure and point to provide food and water. Yeah, okay, we can do that. We can do that. 9:32 in the morning. Real quick break here. Portions of the program brought to you by iConnect. They want you to connect longer for less with their push-to-talk and mobile plans.
From September 17 to September 19, 2018, the Archdiocese of Agana will be conducting settlement conferences with victims of clergy abuse. If you have a claim and want to meaningfully participate in the September settlement conferences, call Hope and Healing Guam at 1-888-649-5288 before August 1st, 2018. All conversations with Hope and Healing Guam are confidential. If you have filed a lawsuit against the Archdiocese, you are already included in this settlement process.
It's 9:32, Cold Stone Creamery. Dads take the cake. Father's Day there. He'll love the new Oreo cookies and cream extreme ice cream cake, plus the tall, dark, and delicious ice cream cake. Speaking of tall, dark, and delicious, BJ Cruz on the line next. Order yours online at coldstonecakes.com, only at Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience.
Morco Equipment, located on Ipoh Road, Tamuning, is a heavy equipment dealership and was established on Guam in 1990. Morco Equipment is now an employee-owned company. Morco represents 23 heavy equipment manufacturers and supports those products on Guam with sales, rental, parts, and service. The Morco equipment rental fleet now comprises of 200 machines. Morco also offers an on-site diesel delivery service and Trashco Guam, a roll-off trash container service. If you're interested in joining the Morco ESOP ownership team, find out more on their website at morcoequipment.com.
Circle K has just made it easier to select products that are better for you and your healthier lifestyle. When looking for items that are low carb, low sodium, low calories, low sugar, high in antioxidants, or high in protein, just look for the easy to spot better for you labels so you can find these items at a glance. Come by and see for yourself. It has never been more convenient to fill up on anything and everything that are better for you. Circle K. Take it easy.
See, proof positive that you've got to listen all the way through the show. I'm not asking for a major time investment, just a sixth of your day, huh? That's all I'm asking for. Show starts at 6. Stay with me until 10, and we'll make sure that you don't miss anything that we are talking about. And the big deal, in my mind, there's a couple of things that happened yesterday over at the legislature. One of them was the what's that line? I'll tear off your arm and I'll beat you with the bloody stump. And that's what it sounded like over at the legislature yesterday as the guys from the Department of Administration came in for their budget hearing. Presiding over that was Speaker B.J. Cruz. Good morning, Beej.
Good morning, Raymond.
You like that? That's a good, because I know you like analogies here, so I thought I'd use that one. I did pull out the arm and beat you with the bloody stump. I'm looking for the quote. You were quoted in Oh, whose story was it? Was it? I think it was it Marcia So's? One of the news guys did a story, and they were saying, "I'm hesitant to express either my disappointment or utter dismay." So, which one did you go with? Was it disappointment or dismay? It was just dismay with the Department of Administration. So I've got a few moments where I can express dismay. The stealing of the money from the supposed lockbox account at the CLTC and apparently the 911 fund too, huh?
And the other special funds, all of them. If you read the article, they admit that if you're not spending your money and they need money, they will take it. That's how they took the child support payment, money that last time, and thought they could get away with it because it is a special account, but as I understand it, it's all general account.
So if you're not using your car, is it okay for me to take it?
That's what they said.
If your boyfriend is mistreating you, is it okay if I date you? Because whatever, it's the same thing, right? What? No, that's if you're not using the money, then let me have it.
Yeah.
And then they come through and they say there's a small likelihood that we'll be able to repay you, so we're going to tear up the IOU.
Correct. Using accounting principle or GASB Rule 34, since it's probably not going to get, it's sort of like a loan from mom, or the loan from dad. It's never repaid. Well, my GASB just writes it off.
Wow. Obviously, we need stronger controls over the monies that go into these lockbox funds.
And we thought that we did, because as I read to them, when we passed the law creating these boxes, we specifically say these shall not be subject to transfer by United Law.
Right.
These shall not be transferred. These are, and all of them have those provisions. I mean, it's boilerplate when we create those special accounts.
So what's the penalty? What is the penalty there? I mean, I appreciate Kathy Kakigi's position that we've got to be very careful here because, we've got other laws that we've got to stand up. And the line where she asked, which law do you want me to break? I think it's amusing, but I suppose it's a little bit disingenuous here. What law has been broken and what is the penalty for that so that we can force the issue further up the line to reduce whatever the spending is that's requiring them to write these checks that may bounce unless we steal the money from the other accounts?
Well, the questions that were being raised by Senator Nelson were, if there's a federal law, and she cited to them the federal law that stated that the E911 funds are to be used specifically and exclusively for the E911 enhanced system. And then she read all of the transfers of millions of dollars from the E911 account to the general fund because it hadn't been used. In the past, they've been trying to accumulate it so they can get a state-of-the-art system that, those of you that understand computers and stuff, a 21st century 911 system. But they can't buy it with maybe 1 year of funds, so they try to accumulate 2 or 3, but if the general fund needs the money, they can take it.
Can we not buy that with an anticipation notes? I mean, we know that we've got money coming in from hundreds of thousands of cell phones and communications devices on Guam. Can we not say this is how much that comes in, and we'll take out an anticipation note and we'll pay you back. In the meantime, we get our enhanced 911 system.
If they had real good cash management, I guess they would.
Well, if you keep taking the money out, you're never going to get it.
The executive has all kinds of line of credit authorization as it stands. That they could do many things like that.
I mean, you wouldn't even have to go off island for that. Auntie Lou, Auntie Lou would write that right now.
One would think, yeah. So that's why, one of my other statements earlier, I really am wondering whether or not this ineptitude or this incompetence is organic or whether it's intentional.
Well, I don't know. It must be intentional, and nobody will say, okay, let's take out that anticipation note because it means that we'll have to pay. We'll have to make payments on this system as opposed to being able to use that for some kind of slushy quick access funds when we're overdrawn on the house checking account.
We've written all the laws that we can write from this side, and it's executive.
Okay, so I know how to fix this. I know how to fix this.
Ventariola on what authority? It's on cash management authority.
But that cash has already been specifically disallocated from funds they have access to, so they can manage all of the cash they want to.
One would have thought, yes.
Okay, so this is how we fix this. All right, Liz Barrett Anderson has resigned her position, and she is going to be not running, and so there's an opening for the Attorney General's office, and you have worn the robe in the past. You have a JD, and so maybe we ought to draft you for that job.
It's quite all right now. There's 3 good candidates that are running for that position already.
Notice he didn't say the names. He just said there's 3 good candidates. There's Gary, and there's Dougie, and I hear Jimmy Espaldon is going for the job, and Levin Camacho. That's 4. So which one of them wasn't the 3 good ones?
Oh no, well, I'm sorry. Jimmy hasn't put his name in, but at least I haven't seen. I know that he said he was thinking about it, but he hasn't announced.
Well, I don't know, because there's a couple of rumors floating around about that, and
for sure that I know that it's announced.
Yeah, I haven't been able to firm, because I know that there's conversation about him going to the Attorney General's office, but there's also some rumor and scuttlebutt that says he might be moving into the realm of the Attorney General's office. Again, the same reason. He's got the JD, knows how the government works. We'll see what happens. And then yesterday you had the SES meeting, and I'm disappointed in some of the conversation coming out of that SES meeting because you guys are proposing an increase in the hotel occupancy tax.
That's one of the administration's recommendations. Yes.
Okay, so no on that. The departure facility surcharge for car rentals, no on that one too, and no on your landing fees. Our tourism game sucks right now. We got to do better, and I think we can't keep digging into our guests, our visitors' pockets to solve our problems.
But I'm just saying, as far as the departure tax is concerned, in that same year, Raymond, the weighted room rate has gone up from $109 to $207. They're already gouging them. It's okay for the hotels to gouge them at $207, but we can't ask them for an $11 increase in the landing fee.
Is that their published rate, or is that what they're paying? Is that their published rate, Beach, or is that what they're paying? Is that what you're extrapolating from the hot taxes that are coming in now? Because the hotel people I talk to say that
that is the weighted room rate that they're publishing. That they're saying that is down there. Those aren't numbers that I'm making up. You can call Mary Rhodes, you can call GVB. They were the ones that came and reported to us the weighted room rate was $207.
All right, I'll go after that. I'll go after that on Monday. But you realize, of course, there's the concern that as soon as we start having more money coming into customs and quarantine, that the rent for customs and quarantine is going to go up.
The money for customs and quarantine is only for customs and quarantine. I'm not sure where Governor Gutierrez got the idea that I was going to spend any of that money elsewhere. That was to try to expand the force, because it would seem to me you need to make this a safe island. Everybody's complaining about all the drugs on island, and every time they want to ask for more money, there's no money for them. That's where they get their money. That's their revenue source.
Well, I just would hate the idea that if somebody saw the opportunity to feather their own nest, that they'd take it out of that fund that we need to use to hire more people.
No, for this one, the landing fee has only been used for that and to pay the strange arrangement customs and quarantine has with the airport. I've railed about in the past, but for some reason, the only one that hears it is you.
Yes, I'm the only one that pays any attention to Beach. That's the way it is. I did my tearful swan song goodbye with the public auditor this morning.
Well, unfortunately, I had to leave for a very important meeting, and I wasn't there.
Well, I'm just saying. I know that you've had disagreements in the past. Like intelligent people, you don't always agree on everything. But I thought maybe I'd get your comments on her last day on the job, and one of the last things that she does on her last day of the job.
I thought that it was really disappointing that after 18 years of her being as objective and dispassionate as she possibly could be in her issuing of the audits, trying to be, as I didn't say completely dispassionate, completely objective, because we've had arguments about some of her findings, that she would use yesterday for free coverage in today's paper saying that there was a surplus. But the cognitive dissonance is obvious in the Post, where on the front page of the Post, directly across from each other, she's saying they have good cash management. On the other side of the front page, the chief financial manager in charge of cash finances management is saying, which law do you want me to break? Because I'm taking all your special funds.
Mm-hmm.
And she's complimenting them on good cash management because she needs the administration support, the partisan support, for her race for Congress. I thought that really was inappropriate for her to use that forum yesterday.
She denied that was happening. She denied that was the impetus for the statement that was made.
Please.
This is why I love this show. This is why I love the program. So you have an opportunity to challenge her on that. The public Office of Public Accountability has their budget deal with you today at 1:30. Are you going to bring that up?
I may, or let's see what she does today. We'll see whether or not she comes in and makes a presentation as a public auditor, as the nonpartisan public auditor, or whether or not she comes in today as candidate Brooks running for Congress.
So you want to see which one it is?
Yep. And then we'll determine how we question her after that.
Well, this is going to, you know what, 2019, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to suck for me because I got to break in a new attorney general. I got to break in a new public auditor. I'm going to have to break in a new speaker over at the legislature. And this is going to be tough. So I just, at least give me some good headlines to talk about on Monday morning based on your get-together today with the public auditor and the attorney general.
Well, yes.
Why, yes. Okay. Vij, I love you, buddy.
I'm sure there'll be more headlines.
Yes. You pulled the arm out and beat him with the bloody stump.
Well, it really is, the importance of the Department of Administration, as I tried to explain to them, I got in trouble about 45 years ago when my first testimony before the Guam legislature 46 years ago. I used a body politic analogy, and so I thought maybe in one of my last days here that I would also use the human body politic as the analogy. But the importance of every, the Department of Administration, and that the HR division is the kidney that determines how how clean the blood is that's going out there. Otherwise, we're going to have amputations because it's not clean blood. Or when there's renal failure there, we have a shortage of GPD, GFD, Brevin tax, and everything else. It's very important that kidney processes people through quickly.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't look like that was the case, certainly for the Department of Revenue and Taxation, which was another interesting sidebar from the conversation yesterday. Hey, listen, I'm going to leave this body politic here because I'm going to get in trouble. I've got thoughts in my head about which department and agency it is that seems to be competing for the butthole part, but I'm not going to say that on the air. So I'm just going to let you go.
That's why I got in trouble.
Because you did it. Okay. All right. See, again, this is why we need it. Could you?
Which agency that was?
All right. Beach, could you do me a favor? I need to write a disclaimer for the program that says that the opinions expressed are not necessarily the opinions of our broadcasters and whatever, and the advertisers. The problem is I'm the managing partner of the radio station, so clearly there might be a connection that I've got to have. So if you could write me one of those with a little loophole in there that'll still achieve the desired effect, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right, and send the bill to K57.
Okay.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you pretty soon. 10 away from 10 o'clock in the morning. I just want to play that part over again.
All these body parts going on.
Please.
Isn't the AG legally allowed to rip someone's arm off and beat him with the bloody stuff? Yeah, I think if they don't approach BJ the proper way this afternoon, he's going to just wind up going,
"Get up, it's Jesus Day."
Yep. So 9:52, and I appreciate the reminder here. Question number 2 in the Ray Gibson News Quiz for the special grand prize, a water filtration system from American Water Tech. Would you like that? In order to become eligible for it, you got to win the contest on the program, and it's going to be based on. In fact, I'll do it now. I'll do the question now. I've been bragging all morning long about my superior adulting skills. You'd figure at 56 years old I'd be good at this by now, but it's still a miracle that I can even find the Department of Revenue and Taxation to get my driver's license. So I did. I'm the proud owner of a Guam driver's license, good for 5 years, 11 months. Believe it or not. I got it yesterday, and it's going to be good until 2024. So this is a sweet deal for $45, right? Groovy. So this is the question that I'm going to be asking you. There's a signature on the back. There's a signature on the back of my driver's license. It's not mine. Whose is it? Whose signature adorns the back of my driver's license? If you can identify that, and you might need to look at your own, please call 888-8255. That number again is 888-8255. Off island, please call 671-888-8255. Register your answer, and if you're correct, we'll put you in the running for the water filtration system from American Water Tech.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dedito 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Hey, it's your stomach talking. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Subway has all new signature wraps packed with meat and flavor. And I know flavor. Okay, maybe not as much as the mouth, that's kind of his job, but we talked, and he's a big fan of the Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese signature wrap. And it's super filling, so you don't have to hear from me for a few hours. Unless they play this radio spot again. Subway, make it what you want.
Second sight. That's what they call it on Coast to Coast, where I ask you to describe something, right? And it's not in front of you. You cannot see it. And I think I've got a guy on the line that might be able to have that incredible skill. Good morning, Tom. How you doing, everybody? Okay, so we didn't tell him to turn the radio down? Tommy, you got to turn the radio down. Tommy.
Yo.
What's up, buddy?
Okay, I'm trying to adjust my radio and keep it away from the phone.
No, it's all right. No, as long as you can hear me and I can hear you, that's the only thing. Don't worry about monitoring through the air. Leave that to the professionals if that's all right. We're the only ones allowed to monitor on the air because otherwise you'll get confused by the robot feedback and all of that and what's actually called comb filtering, which will make your brain explode. So the question is, whose signature is on the back of my driver's license?
Well, I think I got the answer.
Go ahead.
And that answer is John Camacho.
That is absolutely right, and I offer you our deepest congratulations. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you on hold, I think. No, I got to press that button there, and he goes over to Mike's side. So Mike's going to talk to you, and he's going to say things to you that only winners get to hear. Congratulations. Now, you are in the running for an underwater. It might be an under the sink, and it might be the kind that we've got. It's a reverse osmosis device. Whatever it is, it's a water purification and dispensing system from the guys over at American Water Tech. And Rizik and his team are absolutely cool. And the thing is, it's scalable. The crazy thing about that business is it's scalable. They can come in and do a water distribution system for a little dozen-person radio station like ours, or they can go and as big as hotel-size water filtration systems. Right. So I want you to check on all of that if it's one of the things that you are vitally interested in doing for either your home or your businesses. 888-8255 is the telephone number. My, what a fun morning this has turned out to be. With just a couple of minutes left in the program. And I'm trying to think, did I get to everything that I wanted to talk about today? Yeah, no, the only other thing in the table of contents that I've got that I don't even know if it's a question on. It's just I wonder just how stupid people are. The other day I was remarking how intelligent our crimes are getting to be because we've got somebody that had installed one of these skimmer systems on a Bank of Guam ATM over at the mall, and I thought, well, that's pretty sophisticated for just the down-home crooks that we seem to have on Guam. And then come to find out. The very next day, is a story. I don't know if you saw this in the magistrate report. A guy got busted for selling stolen yard gear, right, on Guam Grabs. Mm-hmm. So somewhere along the way, he gets his hands on stolen gear. He either stole it himself, likely, or he, as he claims, he got it from somebody else in exchange for a subwoofer. And so he took all this yard gear that he was trying to sell because apparently he didn't need it when he exchanged it with for the subwoofer. Sure. Right? You really want my subwoofer. Why don't you give me these things that you don't need, that I don't need? Does that sound like a good transaction? I don't need those things.
It's a great transaction if the subwoofer is stolen, too.
Yeah, right? So, and then he sticks this stuff on Guam Grabs. And dumb. So that's it's the first thing that people do when they get ripped off.
I ain't high, I'll tell you that, man. I don't feel nothing, man.
See, that's what I'm thinking. That's what this and other stories. You go back deep enough, and sometimes you got to go back, a couple of layers, and sometimes it's right there in the front. Let's test this guy because I'm sure that somewhere in the story, ice crystal methamphetamine is involved. Could be. I don't know. It's my theory. I haven't mentioned any names yet, right? Nothing identifiable, nothing that can come back to me?
Not yet.
All right, that's why I'm armed. Listen, it's 9:59 and change. I don't know about you, but I intend to have an incredible weekend, and I hope you do too. I hope you got all kinds of crazy plans. Maybe the 7.5K run tomorrow over at Nissan. Maybe that's going to be a big deal for you. I know there's a bunch of big birthday celebrations and shopping trips for moms and all of that stuff today. So I hope that you have a great weekend. I intend to be here 6 o'clock on Monday morning. But I might get a better offer, so we'll just have to see what happens. The radio station is KUSG Agana. We're The Point. Right-wing bomb throwers are coming up for the rest of the day for Kevin Kerrigan, Michael Knight, Blake Watson, and everybody else responsible for putting this together. Thanks for listening. Catch you Monday.
Full steam ahead. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump remaining cautiously optimistic about next week's summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
We could absolutely sign an agreement. We're looking at it. We're talking about it with them. We're talking about it with a lot of other people. But that could happen. But that's really the beginning. Sounds a little bit strange, but that's probably the easy part. The hard part remains after that.
The president with the comments this afternoon after a meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Normalizing relations is something that I would expect to do. I would hope to do.